7. 7. Against Hesser College will be 7 on the 8th, and on the 16th it'll be at 5. For the Main Southwest 2 game, yes. See something special tonight. What's up? Not Star. No. Rebbies.
I'm thinking about it. Not that big. Oh, yeah.
Can you set your timer for that? You can do that tomorrow morning before we go. What time tomorrow?
7. Monday at 8. Yeah, they had lemons to Fitchburg a couple of years. Then last year was like lemons to Lunenburg. They have to pay some money. It should be on like I'm lemons to.
Yeah.
I don't. Just in Fitchburg, according to. No, I don't see. You won't hear from me. I'm very disappointed. I like to get the boys going. Let's play. I gotta be quiet. Where's that kid's from?
Alabama. New Market.
He's a good basketball player.
We're about to find out.
Well, Jason, it's nice to see you, my friend. I think we got an exciting basketball game coming up.
Should have a good evening tonight. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, Jason, I'll be talking to you as far as a lot of these players out there. You are the assistant coach, one of the coaches at Notre Dame.
Yep.
So you'll have to help me out as we go along with some of the information on some of these guys.
Certainly. We'll see what we can do here.
Here's the opening tip, and we're underway, and Winchendon controls the tip. We got a goaltending violation on the Crusaders.
25's Mauricio Branwell went up and got the ball on its way down, so it'll be 2 points for Winchendon.
Here comes Notre Dame on the break.
It's Brandon Robinson going up. Fight on the boards.
We got a foul.
Foul's on Robinson.
Brandon Robinson with the foul, so the ball will go back to Winchendon.
Yep.
We got exciting basketball here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Winchendon and Notre Dame, they take their basketball very serious, Jason. You know, this is going to be up and down all night long.
It's going to be tooth and nail. We're not going to be giving up at all. It's going to be a really hard-fought game. You're going to see a lot of pressure defense tonight, and it's going to be baseline to baseline. Right now, it looks like we're getting the jitters out. A couple of players a little nervous.
Yeah, Notre Dame with 2 games under their belt should, you know, that should maybe bode well for them.
Yep.
But as we're seeing early on, pretty good size advantage for the Green Wave, it appears.
Yeah, they got a lot of height. Hopefully, we're going to try to negate that with the speed. I believe that might have been number 3 that hit the bucket for Winchendon. Foul's on Morris Hall for Winchendon.
Morris Hall, as you say, on the violation. So Notre Dame will inbound from the side. 4-0 Green Wave early on here. Notre Dame looking to break the ice. You wouldn't want Winchendon to open up a big run early and have to play catch up with these guys.
No, not at your own home court. That's going to be off Brandon Robinson. It's going to be Winchendon's ball.
Mike Burns shouting out signals. He's a very animated coach, and he knows his business. And you don't have to tell him when he's playing Notre Dame. He's ready to go.
Here comes another alley-oop.
Oh, wow. Boy, worth the price of admission, huh, Jason? Tailor-made alley-oop to big number 52, Sonny Abraham. Dick Vitale says he's at #1 junior, and we just showed us why.
He's starting to prove it a little bit. Got a foul on number 3. That's going to be on Jeremiah King.
Jeremiah King on the foul for Winchendon down the other end. As this crowd just now starts to calm down after that beautiful, beautiful dunk down the other end by Abraham. Notre Dame tries a nice little inbound play and just misses on a lay-in to Jermaine Fitch. And here comes Winchendon.
Oh, we got another block by Brandon. Brandon's probably one of our most athletic players for Notre Dame.
We got a blocking foul down here. So Notre Dame, Jason, you know, Winchendon's certainly showing they're going to run, and Notre Dame plans on running themselves, wouldn't you say?
I'd say so. We're, in a lot of ways, we're a lot alike. Both very, very athletic, like to run up and down, and not afraid to put the ball up. So you're going to see a pretty wide open offense tonight. I think so far the difference right now is the defense. It seems that we're a little slow to the ball right now and picking up our men, as you could have seen with the alley-oop that we had to Sonny. First one's good. Mike
Cleaves breaks the ice for the Crusaders. You know, these guys have played a lot of ball, Jason, but you know you don't want to you don't want to fall behind, as I had mentioned earlier. You got to get the jitters out and get loose out there.
Yep.
Notre Dame does finally get on the board.
See if we can play a little bit of defense now.
The big boys on the offensive glass. That's Abraham. We got a foul on the Crusaders.
Looks like it's going to be on. Got a hack on the arm, Jermaine Fitch.
Jermaine Fitch. It's going to be some physical play down low, as obviously Notre Dame is going to have to really battle with the size situation that they're up against.
Yep. It's going to mean moving their feet a lot.
Here's a nice defensive play by Jermaine Fitch. He's on the run, loses it for the moment, and it's taken away.
One pass too much. Looks like we've got steps called.
That's Lamar Mitchell. The official has got a traveling violation. Possession Notre Dame now. Yeah, and this kind of basketball, you can't skip a beat on getting back on defense, because they'll be right back down the other end, as you say.
And like I said, you're now starting to see some of the full court pressure that we were talking about earlier. Trying to set the tone early, especially when we have Winchendon up 6-1. They're going to want to keep, pressing and forcing the issue with us. They're not going to stand back and let the game come to them. They're going to be very aggressive.
Well, the first substitute of the night is coming from Winchendon. That's number 44, Darius Mansell. He's already signed to go to Texas Christian University. And he's 6'11", and he is 6'11". There's no exaggeration there. He is a big man.
Got Charles Ford with the ball up top now.
Now, Jason, do you plan on spreading the floor at times, or is Notre Dame just being patient for the good shot?
Well, we're always going to be spreading the floor. Very athletic, and the only way we can take advantage of that athleticism is if we spread it out so we can drive the lane. What we're trying to hope to do is if we drive the lane, force the defense to come up against us. That's where we can create open shots.
Well, as you say, athleticism, boy. There's athleticism on the court here tonight, boy.
Yep.
6-1. It's kind of low scoring. Both teams probably a little bit rusty. They haven't played many games, and they're just getting to know each other out there. Don't forget, most of these guys, Jason, right? They come from, we talked earlier. They come from all parts of the country, and they used to be in the big gun.
That's correct.
Putting them together to make it work takes time, wouldn't you say?
That's right. We, like you said, we have a lot of players coming from California, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. And when you have players coming from their team, they were the big gun. And now all of a sudden you got 15 big guns all in one team. It takes a little while to mold together and to learn how everybody plays. And that's what we're kind of seeing right now, and that's something that's going to take a little bit more time, not only with Notre Dame but also with Winchendon. Like we got.
They said 2-4. We're going to check on that foul. It looked like Fitch to me. Who was it on?
4.
It was on Jermaine Fitch.
Fitch, yeah. That's
Jermaine Fitch is his second foul. And looking at it early on, he only stands 6'5", Jermaine Fitch, but he is an aggressive player, and somebody Crusaders really you know, it looks like he's going to have to be on the floor throughout tonight's game to keep it interesting.
Certainly not afraid of contact, and it looks like so far all of our offensive rebounding has come from him so far. I believe he's got 2, or at least had his hand on the ball a couple of times. Ball coming out of the rim.
Winchendon clears the glass. And Notre Dame with a nice steal down the other end. Brandon Robinson with a nice defensive effort.
Robinson now up top for a 3.
Notre Dame getting one shot, and they're not dropping right now. Better be careful. The Green Wave can put points up fast. This might get a quick lead here.
Jermaine Fitch got the board, but we ended up with a jump ball. It's going to be Notre Dame ball.
King made a nice tie-up to get the jump ball, but the possession now goes to Notre Dame. The Green Wave wanted a substitution, but the request was in, but the player wasn't ready. So we're back in action here. Notre Dame with possession, trailing 8-1.
One thing on that rebound, when Jermaine Fitch got the rebound, it's really important that you hold the ball tight, keep it up. What happened with that rebound is he brought the ball down by his waist, and that brought the ball down to a level where a guard could have gotten at it, and that's how Jeremiah King was able to get his hand on and force the jump ball.
Andre Sandoval in the lineup for Winchendon. He replaces Jermaine King. As you say, Jason, early on, you learn you're a big guy. You got the edge and the size. You get that ball up over your head. You don't leave it down low where those guards are dying to get in there and rip it away from you.
Right.
Notre Dame is looking to sub. Now they're bringing in
Joel Wiggin.
Can you tell me about Joel a little bit, Jason?
Joel's a slasher. He was here last year. He signed with Rutgers, and he's a good ball player, very offensive-minded. He's an excellent athlete and is able to get to the hole. His game basically consists of he's a good shooter if you leave him open, and if you get up on him, he'll try to take it to the hole. He's not afraid to take it to the rim, but he's also able to dish off, and that's something that Rutgers really saw in him. And
well, you talk about fear, Jason. I think most of these guys, they left the fear in the way in. Not too many of these guys are afraid of much, I don't think, out there. They're all pretty aggressive.
Oh, no. They've all definitely proven themselves, and that's what's gotten them in this position right now. We have 2 very quality teams, and, they're here for a reason. They're here to go on and play ball.
That foul was on number 50 for Notre Dame, Corey Scott. My name is Jamie Elaine, and my partner is the assistant coach, Jason Webster, and we're bringing you to the game. I hope you're enjoying it. It's good basketball. We've got a sub coming in for the Green Wave. Number 11, Brian Carter, replaces Sani Abraham. And if you didn't hear it early on, it was given the information that Sani Abraham, who just came out of the game, is rated the #1 junior in the country. For prep schools by Dick Vitale. So he's certainly a lot of coaches got their eye on that man.
Mm-hmm. He definitely was able to prove to us that he can get the ball and put it through the hoop.
Yeah, he made an ESPN highlight film play about 3 minutes into the game.
Just getting started, too.
And he didn't break a sweat, maybe, huh, Jason?
I haven't seen it yet. Mauricio Brandwell from the corner for 2 points.
Brandwell with about a 16-footer from the corner. And Notre Dame's got an athlete, an outside shot. You can't just keep swinging it around. You've got to have somebody who can knock it down from the outside.
Yep, that was the first shot that we've actually been able to hit.
Winchendon moving guys in and out with a couple of substitutions now.
Looks like we've already got a 1-and-1. A lot of fouls have been committed so far in Notre Dame. So on our 7th foul, we're going to have 1-and-1.
Boy, Jason, that's unbelievable. We haven't played 5 full minutes, and Notre Dame is putting Winchendon in the bonus situation, and that is, besides giving up those easy free throws, it's going to really hurt them later in the contest when those fouls start to come up. They're committing an awful lot of fouls early, as you say.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all going to depend on whether or not they can capitalize on these attempts. First one's good. We got 14, Tim Stevens at the line.
Don't forget, the big game Notre Dame is coming up Saturday, December 16th against Maine Central, and that will be right here at St. Bernard's. So if you're home watching the game, try to make a point to get out here because that's really good basketball, just like tonight's game is.
Good offensive putback by Mauricio Branwell.
Beautiful play there, Jason. Really aggressive on the boards. Really good hustle.
Yep.
That's what the Crusaders are going to need, I think. That was a nice aggressive move.
Well, like I said, it was created by a drive to the basket, and we were able to pick up the offensive rebound and put the ball back in. That's the kind of effort we're going to need tonight if we're going to be able to stay with Winchendon and pick up the win.
Well, I think what's encouraging for Notre Dame, they're not running scared with the size advantage. They're up there battling, and they're going to have to battle, and they know it. Maine King just came in the lineup, and it's a nice stop and pop from about 12 feet to get the Green Wave a 6-point advantage.
Joel Wiggin, top of the key. Over to Mike Cleaves.
We got a foul. Nice penetration there by Joel Wiggin. As you mentioned, he's going to Rutgers, the Scarlet Knight, next year. He's going to have a 2-shot foul coming up. The crowd is starting to get a little better. We didn't have that many early on, but it seems a few are arriving fashionably late, maybe, Jason. Where do they think they're at? The Forum in Los Angeles?
Well, I think some of the good folks at Fitchburg are now getting out of work and able to make it over to the game. Hopefully, all the body heat will be able to warm this place up. It's kind of cold right now.
You had mentioned that some Division I coaches you spotted in the building. Can you mention who you saw? What schools?
Yeah, we've seen a couple people from University of Massachusetts, Northeastern. Seen some people from Northeastern, as I said. Rutgers is here.
Winchendon now in a little bit of a half-court offense. Notre Dame with some nice active defense and steals the ball on the break. The pass does get away.
We had an alley-oop attempt from Mike Cleaves. A little bit of communication breakdown there.
They ruled it was deflected, so it will remain Notre Dame ball. As Damaris Edens returns to the lineup for the Green Wave.
Corey Starks is inbounding the ball for Notre Dame. Unfortunately, he had an ankle injury that stopped him from playing in the first couple of games. Tonight's really going to be a proving ground for him and to get the first step forward. A very talented player from California. We got a foul here on number 10.
Another Notre Dame foul, and that's on Charles Ford. We don't have the exact number. I believe that's his second foul. As we keep talking incredibly early on, Notre Dame is over the limit, and Winchendon is this is going to be a long half going back and forth to the foul line. As the rule goes, when you hit 10, you get 2 shots. So Winchendon is going to have a huge advantage at the free throw stripe, forcing Coach Barton to make substitutions because the fouls are certainly going to catch up to these guys.
One more foul, and we're going to have 10 on Notre Dame. That's going to force them to go to a 2-shot foul situation. Check that, 2 more. We're at 8 fouls right now.
2 more fouls till it'll be double bonuses. For the Green Wave, that's Demarius Aidens. He misses the free throw. But an offensive rebound put up and in. I didn't see it. Was that number 4?
Darius Mansell, yeah.
Mansell. You know, you got to clear them out on those rebounds, Jason. You can't get those extra ones, free ones like that.
No, that's where the fundamental of we got travel on Corey Starks. Fundamentally, if you need to box out, you're going to have to get a body on the man. And unfortunately, a lot of times what will happen is you'll turn around going for the ball, and that'll give the offense the chance to get over and try to get the offensive board.
Ishak Bennett now enters the Notre Dame lineup as they have to keep juggling guys in and out and keep half an eye on those foul situations.
Well, one thing about these teams, they're so athletic, they're also very deep.
Deep and hungry for minutes, I'm sure, as Winchendon again attacks that board. Is that Mansell again, I believe, for the...
Yeah, I believe that was 44. Darius Mansell.
Corner jumper won't go by Wiggin for Notre Dame, and we got another foul. Boy, Jason, I've seen a lot of ball games, but I haven't seen this many fouls. It's incredible. We can't go a couple of series without a whistle.
Still 1-1. It's not defense.
And I don't think it's over officiating in any way. I think they're black and white fouls. They're cut and dried, and you have to call them. These guys are big guys, and when there's contact in there, you know, you have to come up with a call a lot of times, and certainly Winchendon is getting the better of it right now.
Well, it's good to see at least that they are calling them, not keeping the game from going out of hand. When you do have a couple athletic teams like this, they are going to be running, they are going to be banging, there are going to be some fouls. So.
Yeah, you make a good point. You know, I referee a lot of basketball myself, and when you get guys like this, and if you let them play too much with their huge size and just their you know, you can get fights. You know, you can get some short tempers out there if you let too much go. So you have to really work hard and closely pay attention to the ball game. Ball is out of bounds off Notre Dame. It's going to be Winchendon ball. Winchendon leading 16-8. It's been a little ragged, Jason. You can tell it's early on in the year.
It is. The effort is definitely there, though. The effort's definitely there. Just need to make a couple of tune-ups and hopefully see if we can creep back into this one.
I think the guys like playing this type of game. You know, the schools are not that far from each other. And, you know, because these guys travel all over the East, certainly, and this is kind of a rival game. Notre Dame is just...
Oh, absolutely. Winchendon and Notre Dame, huge rivalry that's developed over the last couple of years, especially with last year Notre Dame beating Winchendon for the first time ever. Mike Cleaves up front.
Notre Dame swinging around now, trying to get something started, but Winchendon makes the nice defensive play. That's Jermaine King on the break. The dishes to number 23, Demarius Eden. Notre Dame on the other end. It's a beautiful offensive play, Jason. I didn't see who passed that ball to Mike Cleaves. Who hit Mike? Did you get it?
I didn't catch it. I think that was Jobby Gillis, number 42, was able to get the ball up to him. A beautiful outlet pass. Mike Cleaves.
Mike Cleaves is a very athletic a ball player, no question. He only stands 5'10", but he's very gifted.
He's very gifted. He was able to go up with the ball, hang, and wait for the contact. And then after the defensive player...
Committed, as you say, huh?
Right, yeah. And once, he committed to him and caused a foul, he was able to hold on another second, lay it in.
I think that's a nice talent to have when you can hang like that and draw the foul. And at his size, he's learned that. And when you're in with those big guys, you gotta find some way to draw that foul and get to that foul line, because if you just stand there, it's gonna get blocked more often than not.
Winchendon able to break the press.
Notre Dame now with a hungry man-to-man defense, trying to create some turnovers, and there is a turnover. Nice defensive play by Brandon Robinson. He goes the length of the court and misses.
We got a rebound by Joel.
That's Brian Godden here, huh, Jason, on the board there?
Look, had a couple of offensive rebound attempts there after Brandon got in for the layup.
Oh, Edgerby Gillis, was that the rebounder?
It's 1-on-1.
We got a foul now, I believe, on Winchendon. So
I believe it was Jobby Gillis and then...
52.
Yeah, you're right. It was Jobby Gillis who almost got the follow-up.
Yes.
But Notre Dame did draw a foul, so number 20,
Joel Wiggin had gone up for another offensive board, and that's where the foul was committed.
Oh, I see. So Notre Dame certainly attacking that offensive glass, and now they finally get to the charity stripe. First free throw is good by Joel Wiggin. Substitutions now. Mauricio Branwell replaces Brandon Robinson in the Crusader lineup.
And then we got Harding Nana came in for Meshach Bennett. Harding Nana is from Cameroon.
Cameroon, Africa. Name like that, Jason, he's got to be going places.
Well, he's going to try. He's a very bright student and has a heck of a work ethic. He's got a little bit to learn, but he's also very gifted athletically, and so he's going to be able to contribute a lot to this team.
And you mentioned earlier when we were speaking that the Big East is seeking the services of Harding Nana.
Big East is looking at him. George Washington University. Also Richmond.
Winchendon now in the half-court offense. They're going to be looking to isolate a little bit to use some of that size. And there's 44. Darius Mansell really just taking advantage of the size matchup down low, wouldn't you say?
Harding Nana with the jumper.
Nana's jumper won't go. Possession, Winchendon. It's Winchendon 20-13 right now. 12:03 remaining. It doesn't seem to be a clear-cut advantage either way, but Winchendon's a little smoother in my view so far.
So far, I think it's early on in the game though to tell. We're able to bridge the gap a little bit. And now we got a possible three-point play as Mauricio Branwell commits a foul to Sani Ibrahim.
Well, Branwell is 6'8", but Sani Abraham is 6'11", and that's a tough matchup for Notre Dame. This Abraham is very, very strong, and you can see he's got a little head fake there and a little dipsy-do move, and he was able to draw the foul and make the basket. So this guy not only has the size, but he has the finesse in there too. So you can see why he's really a sought-after recruit. Notre Dame now comes back as they trail 22-13. A scramble. Notre Dame gets the better of it. Joao Wigan, and we got a foul.
Foul on 23.
We got a Winchendon foul on Demario Edens. Winchendon wants a substitution. They're going to bring in Brian Carter. As you mentioned, Jason, both these teams are not afraid to substitute. These guys are raring to go, and they're very deep both sides. And there's no 5 or 6 or 7 guys. They're going to go 9, 10, you know, maybe even deeper than that, wouldn't you say?
I'd say so. Well, especially when you got guys like Brian Carter, who's coming in at 6'11". And he's subbing in for Darius Manciel, who's also 6'11". Both of them are going to be going to Texas Christian next year. And that's a luxury that a lot of coaches probably would love to have.
What do you think they said? If you'll go, I'll go. How do you think they got them both like that to commit so early?
I guess you kind of had to be there.
Joao Wigan knocks down the first free throw, cuts the margin to an 8-point Winchendon lead. The second free throw, we got a whistle. We got a whistle, and official Lamar Mitchell has a violation, so we're going to have no basket on that second free throw. Possession, Winchendon. Notre Dame now with some full court pressure. What is this, Jason? Just a basic man-to-man full court that Notre Dame likes to throw at you?
Yeah, right now we got a man-to-man.
Well, Coach Barton for the Crusaders is pleading for a traveling violation, and he gets it. There's a penetration dribble by Tim Stevens, caught shuffling that foot, traveling, and the ball goes back to Notre Dame. Nice to see Notre Dame get a couple hoops in a row and tighten it up, Jason. They're at arm's length right now at 8 points.
Starting to show some signs of life. And we got a jumper from Charles Ford is short. Going
Notre
the other way
Dame jumper won't go, as you say, down the other end. It's a mambo scramble there. Notre Dame comes up with it. They're looking to push. There's a beautiful move. Joao Wigan will be going to draw that foul too, doesn't he, Jason?
He does. He's been doing really good at driving to the hoop. Excuse me. He's been doing very well. My grammar is slipping a little bit here as I get older, but
well, the game goes so fast, you know, we're all liable to make a few mistakes.
Joao Wigan at the line for 2.
We got 11:01 remaining. We're glad you're viewing the game on local television, channel 36. Notre Dame's next home game is December 8th against Hesse College. That's at Notre Dame Gymnasium. And following that one is the big matchup that usually gets a big crowd in the area, and that's December 16th against Maine Central, and that's here at St. Bernard's. And Maine Central, Jason, you're on that Maine team. They come in with a real wagon, don't they?
They do. They've had some players that played for them in the past are now in the NBA. Sam Cassell, if you're familiar with, guard for the Milwaukee Bucks.
They're the measuring stick, wouldn't you say, as far as prep basketball? I mean, that's going in the country, not just the East, I think. You know, not just the New England area. I mean, Maine Central. You know, you'll see a Bobby Knight down there, a Dean Smith in the past. You know, that is a real, if you excuse the expression, a real breeding ground for top basketball players, and that's where you're going to find the best, and they're coming down to play Notre Dame.
So we got a foul on Demario Edens, 23.
We got a foul. What else is new? We've had a lot of fouls in this game. We still haven't even played 10 minutes, Jason.
Yep, we got both teams in the bonus now.
I hope they are deep, as you say, because there's going to be some guys fouling out of this one. Back in the lineup for Winchendon, that's number 44, Darius Mansell, replacing Demario Edens. Joao Wigan at the line for Notre Dame.
First one rims out. We are getting to the line now, though, and that's showing that we're being aggressive and taking the ball to the hole. So hopefully that'll be able to pay off for us down the line as we get to the foul line.
Yeah, neither team really has been able to put on an offensive spurt to speak of. You know, each team I think has tried to run, but it's been a little helter-skelter.
Well, Winchendon did have a four-point run early on, especially the exclamation point being Sani Ibrahim's slam dunk off the alley-oop. But now it seems like both teams have settled down and are now a little more confident in what they're doing. So
I think this, in a way, is good for Notre Dame because I think they're. I would consider them kind of the underdog in this tilt, and they're going to keep battling and hang with Winchendon, and things might go their way.
Yeah, well, I think that would depend on who you talk to as far as who being the underdog. Definitely both teams feel that they deserve the win and are going to play as hard as they can with that in mind. I think especially speaking as one of the assistants, we definitely go into this with the confidence that we aim to win like any of our games. But this is definitely a very good matchup, and they are a very tough team.
Well, you know, Jason, I'm a Notre Dame grad, and I hate to talk to them as an underdog, but and I didn't mean any harm by it. But I just at first the size advantage was a little threatening, I thought. But you were right. As it's settling down, it seems to be a fairly evenly matched game. And there's a big hoop by Charles Ford from outside.
Absolutely, Ford was able to hit the three-pointer to cut it to a 24-20 lead.
Notre Dame, after nailing the three, as you say, calls the timeout. So it's tightened right up here. We got 9:54 remaining, first half. It's Friday night. It's basketball season already. I know some of you are thinking football and thinking Leominster-Fitchburg coming up and holiday, but we got basketball here, and we got a pretty good crowd all of a sudden, Jason. It's gotten better, and it's a shame if people don't turn out. I don't think maybe people don't get the word as much. We maybe should promote the game a little more because this is just fast-paced, exciting basketball with gentlemen out there, and they're real, just talented players.
They are, and hopefully we'll see that as the season progresses and they hear about the team and how they're doing, they'll be able to come out and see the game.
Well, off the timeout, as you say, Notre Dame cuts it to 4, and now Notre Dame's going to put on a full-court man-to-man pressure as Winchendon inbounds. That's Mike Cleaves trying to handle the guard for Winchendon, Tim Stevens. And now Winchendon returns to that charity stripe.
And we got another foul on Mike Cleaves.
Like they got timeshare at that charity stripe, don't they, Jason? They're there every whistle now, and it's been that way for quite a while. Coach Burns is giving instructions to his guard. That's Jermaine King. As Tim Stevens misses the first of 2. It's 2 all the way now. Winchendon is in double bonus. Stevens makes 1 of 2 to put the Green Wave up 5. 25-20. As Winchendon holds the lead, and Andre Sandoval is getting ready to report in. There's a turnaround jump. Was that Mauricio
Branwell? Mo Branwell. He's been playing well for us so far on both ends of the court.
Well, he didn't shy away from that foul line jumper, and he showed a lot of poise in there. He seemed almost like he was double teamed and kind of a sandwich there, and he knocked down the jumper.
Yeah, he's able to use those long arms to free himself up.
There's a beautiful shot.
Just as I say that, we see the long arms of Winchendon come down.
Darius Mansell with a little fadeaway off the glass. Looked like almost an old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar move. On the other end for Notre Dame, that was Harding Nana hitting the jumper. We got an offensive foul on Winchendon, and that's a big turnaround, penetrating drive, and it's going the other way as Notre Dame tries to get this match evened up.
Harding Nana, the great move on defense, was able to step up and see the charge. One thing about taking the charge is you got to be able to step up away from the basket. Because if you're under the basket and if you fall down, it doesn't matter how much contact is made, you're still going to have the foul call on you. Harding Nana at that time was able to get out to the foul line extended and meet the man there to take the charge. Excellent defensive play by Harding.
Get to the spot, like you say. That charge is a big swing, though, and it's a gutsy play defensively, but it can be a big momentum builder when you get that charge.
You got a jump ball.
Notre Dame looks like they're playing with a lot more confidence in the last 5 minutes, Jason. Wouldn't you say? They seem like, I don't know if they were, like we talked about, a little bit sloppy, a little bit rusty, but they they seem to be getting in a little bit of a a little bit of a better rhythm here, and the offense is getting a little smoother, it appears.
Oh yeah, they're playing hard, and all of a sudden you look up the scoreboard and we're only down 27-24.
Here's an end-to-end move by Winchendon. Jermaine King won't go, and the Crusaders are back on the run.
Oh!
There's a beautiful move. Beautiful move. We got a foul. Coaches are looking for a goaltending violation.
Well, his hand did definitely go up through the rim at that time. Mike Cleaves made a great move to the hoop, and unfortunately, not all eyes with stripes were present enough to see that the ball did get tampered
Jason,
with.
I was looking at my statistics here, and being a member of the officials board myself, I'm not going to say one way or the other, but I really didn't see it, so I can't actually make a comment. But both coaches, especially, of course, the Notre Dame coach, Barton, was looking for a goaltend, and someone grabbed it seemed like someone did grab the rim, as you say.
Yeah, like you say, it's very difficult to see everything going on at the same time. Best thing we can do is hope for the best, and hopefully next time.
In defense of these referees, Jason, these are tough games to do because, you got guys. I mean, let's face it. You got, normally you see a big guy, 6'8", 6'7". You're talking front line in this game of 6'8" being the average. So there's a lot of up above the rim activity, and then you got to also watch the, in the paint. So it's a challenge for these referees.
Definitely. A little full court pressure, man-to-man, being applied by Notre Dame.
Winchendon trying to go down low, and I think we got another offensive foul.
Another offensive foul by Mauricio, or actually taken by Mauricio Brandwell, is able to take the charge on Sandy Abraham.
That's big Sandy Abraham, who's a big boy, and we've been talking about him all night. But Notre Dame, Jason, they seem like they're being the smarter of the two, teams, and they're drawing out offensive, which is really a big factor right now in neutralizing the offensive attack of Abraham, who's certainly a force to be reckoned with.
Well, certainly when you are able to take the charge like that, it sets the tone for the game because now he knows he has to be careful. I think that might be 2 or 3 on Sonny, and we're, like you say, we're a little over halfway through the game.
It's now a 1-point game. We got a ND on a beautiful play.
Heck of a follow by Mike Cleaves. He's able to jump up and hang again and get that ball and put it back in. Great putback by Mike.
Cleaves, he's only 5'10", as we mentioned. I wouldn't even say he doesn't even look 5'10", but boy, he is a tough player, and he's getting a lot of rebounds for Notre Dame.
We got another offensive foul by number 14. Referee says that he was using his arm to shove off, trying to get rid of the defensive pressure put on by Joel Wiggin.
Well, Coach Mike Burns wants to talk it over. Notre Dame is starting to get a little momentum here, and that full court pressure, Jason, it seems to be all of a sudden paying some dividends. Early on, they weren't creating a turnover, but now with the offensive foul, and it seems like Notre Dame the pressure is working for them.
Well, it seems now that they're loosened up in the game and all, they're able to move their feet a lot more and not try to overcompensate by slapping at the ball with their hands. As a referee, I'm sure that you've been able to have to call a lot of calls like that, and that'll irritate a coach when he sees that his players aren't moving his feet. But now it seems we have look up the clock again, and Notre Dame's up 28-27.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been an exciting game. Notre Dame is just letting people know they're going to be in this game right down to the wire. You can see it. And Winchendon looking for a sub, but too late on that. So Notre Dame inbounds. And Notre Dame, they may have the advantage at the God play right now.
Yep. Mike Cleaves able to take advantage of the quickness he has over his guard, and we now have another foul on Winchendon. So that'll be 2 shots as they're over the 10 foul limit.
Okay, that's Tim Stevens committing the foul for the Green Wave, and as you say, Notre Dame will shoot 2, and Mike Cleaves, I'll tell you, you got to like the way this guy plays basketball. He's a veteran. He plays like a veteran. He can put on good defensive skills in the backcourt, and yet he's been rebounding. He gets in there, and he had a beautiful offensive tip-in, and he's just a pleasure to watch out here.
He is. Definitely a pleasure, and I'm sure that's why he's drawing the attention of a lot of A-10 scouts. And
one thing I noticed too, Jason, in this game is, like he just had a smile on his face. These guys all seem like good guys. They're focused. They're into basketball, and they're hard-nosed competitors. But they just look like, both sides look like they just got a good bunch of guys. They
are. One thing that we have as coaches over at the Notre Dame campus is we do live with them, and so we are in full contact with them, not only as coaches but also being around the house with them. And they are a great bunch of guys.
And they're playing hard for the coaches, and that's you can tell They're enthusiastic and they're raring to go. And there's a nice stop and pop by Joao Wigan. And all of a sudden, Notre Dame, trailing throughout the first 10, 12 minutes, has forged ahead by a 4-point lead. And again, another whistle. These referees, they may put in for double pay because we're going to have about 40, 50 fouls before this one's over.
Well, don't let the word spread about double pay, because then we might have a couple angry coaches. But
Well, I know a little about Notre Dame. There's no way they'll be double paid, Jason. They're lucky to get paid the single pay, tell you the truth. Well, Winchendon is back at that charity stripe.
we got,
They got reservations there tonight, I'll tell you.
Justin Kimball from Ithaca, New York. First one is good.
Number 55, Justin Kimball. He's 5'10" out of Ithaca, New York, and he knocks down the first one. 7:07 remaining. It's Notre Dame by 4. Kimball misses the second one, and now the Crusaders come back the other way. Winchendon looking more of a half-court man-to-man as opposed to Notre Dame's full-court pressure. Well, there's Mike Cleaves again, kind of taking things into his own hands, Jason. He's not afraid to go one-on-one.
Looks like no one's been able to answer the challenge yet that Cleaves has put out. Each time he's had the ball, he's been trying to get towards the rim in some facet, and each time he does go to the rim, it's been Winchendon foul on their guards.
That's a good point. I think you hit the nail right on the head. I think he feels that he can go by the pressure that he's getting, and that can create some inside passes, and it can also, create his offense. And Winchendon is forced to foul to slow him down. So he has certainly been a big factor here, doing a lot of things on the floor.
There's one thing that as a coach you do like to see when your guard does penetrate like that, because what that's going to do is it's going to open the offense up for the rest of the team. Because if they do collapse on him, he then is going to have to be forced to make a pass.
Beautiful hustle here in the pressure by Notre Dame. And Mike Cleaves was in on that play too, forcing almost a turnover, but it does go out of bounds to Winchendon, as Cleaves is going to take a breather for Charles Ford. Winchendon now inbounding. Brian Carter inbounds, and now Winchendon brings it up. They're down 5. And Notre Dame tries to dig in on that hard man-to-man D.
Just told by one of the assistants that we're working on the scores table here, we have 8 points for both Mike Cleaves and Risto Branwell, so they have definitely been at the forefront of the scoring effort for Notre Dame. 23. Looks like 23 is the leading scorer with Winchendon, 8 points as well. That's Demario Edens.
Yeah, he's been getting a lot inside, and we've got another foul. And Winchendon is going to go to the foul stripe again, shooting 2. They've been in this position since really only 10 minutes went by, Jason, and these guys were, I think, in double bonus.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a kind of game. There's a lot of turning people and checking and banging, and
Looks like we may have to lace up the high tops before this one's over. It keeps going at this rate.
Coach Barton and Coach Barnes here, Burns, just having a couple of chuckles about all the fouls being committed. They're certainly going to have to go deep into their bench as this game wears on. Notre Dame now brings it up. They lead by 4. 6:33 remaining. We're glad to see you watching the game on Channel 36 FATV. We're glad to bring it to you. We're coming from St. Bernard's Gym. My name's Jamie Elaine. I'm here with Jason Webster. We're covering it for you. And we got a good one.
Mo Branwell with another jumper from the top of the elbow. That seems to be where he's gotten the most of his points, with the elbow jumper and the offensive rebounds.
I agree with you 100% there, Jason. That Mo Branwell, he's 6'8", and he gets off his feet, and that's a tough shot to defend, and he seems to have that 15 to 17-foot range, and that's when you got a guy who can knock it down like that at that size, that's a tough guy to defend.
A lot of pressure put on by Joel Wigan in the full court, as we almost had another turnover.
Well, you got to like the intensity on defense by the Crusaders. They're giving Winchendon a lot of trouble getting their offense set up because of that outside pressure. Because the Green Wave has got the edge down low, but up top, I'd have to say Notre Dame's getting a little better of it. But it's gonna change several times, as you know. And there's a carrying violation. And as a referee, they're emphasizing that this year. They don't want to give that offensive player that advantage of twirling that ball side to side. And that was a nice call by referee Lamar Mitchell.
Well, you'd mentioned the height advantage that Winchendon does have, but one thing, since we do have the advantage with quickness in our guards, in order for them to get the ball down low, they have to make the pass from the guards outside. And so what we're trying to do is put a lot of pressure on them defensively so that they have to make a difficult pass down low. And that's where they're able to make a lot of the turnovers.
Yeah, you said it right. You said it right there, Jason. And it was a nice bucket by Jermaine Fitch for Notre Dame. Winchendon misses, and back come the Crusaders on the go. And that's Charles Ford. And you mentioned, Jason, he's quick, and you're right. He is quick.
He was able to get ahead in the break and lay it in. We got a timeout on Winchendon.
Timeout Winchendon as Notre Dame is just slowly and methodically getting the better of it out there, Jason. They just seem to be, as you say, that good defense at the guard position is creating turnovers, and then once there is the turnover, Notre Dame wants to go, and they've gotten a couple of nice fast break hoops, and they got themselves a 10-point lead.
Well, we got a timeout going on here. Sure.
You mentioned, and you make a good point, Jason. Without the guards able to get a clear look inside and to see the post play, you're not going to get, if you don't get the good look and you're concerned with, just keeping control of the ball, you're not going to get the offense on track. And you, like you say, you guys at Notre Dame have the edge right now, and at the guard spot, you're bottling them up, so to speak.
Well, we are able to contain them. What we like to do when we're playing defense, as they bring the ball up the court, we want to force them to go where they don't want to go. And so that's going to mean turning the ball as they're bringing the ball up the court. Make them go where they don't want to go. So, make them go where they're uncomfortable. And right now, it's been working to our advantage as we're up by 10.
Okay, now back after the timeout, Coach Burns wants to regroup a little bit and make some changes.
We got a out of bounds off of the pressing Jason Thomas.
Okay, we got a sub. Jermaine King returns to the Winchendon lineup, replaces Emmanuel Messi. And that ball went off for Winchendon, huh, Jason?
Looks like we got the ball back.
Well, Notre Dame by 10 with 5:20 left. As Charles Ford tries to knife in through the lane, and he's turned away, and it's back up top as Notre Dame tries to work the ball a little bit. There's a nice hustle on the floor by Winchendon, number 5. That's Andre Sandoval creating the turnover. You gotta like it when a guy hits the floor like that, huh, Jason? Showing a lot of guts and heart out there.
Definitely seen a lot of hustle so far in the game.
Winchendon trying to go down low with that size advantage, but kind of an awkward jump hook shot. Didn't go, and Notre Dame is on the attack. And we've got a foul.
We got another foul against Winchendon, number 3. Yeah, it's Jeremiah King.
Jeremiah King commits the foul, and we've got to put in for a longer halftime, I think, Jason. Because putting these fouls is going to take about 15 minutes.
And who had the ball when they called the foul? None other than Mike Cleaves.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike Cleaves, he really, as we've been saying, has been impressive. He's all over the court. He's a guy that makes things happen. And, you need guys that can he's versatile. He can take it to the hoop. He sees the floor. He's not afraid to dish it off. And he seems like the total package early on tonight.
Mm-hmm. And definitely has been able to take advantage of the charity stripe. I think he's only missed 1 foul shot so far. I'll have to check out the exact statistics, but I believe he's right around 5 for 6 now from the foul line. And as you look up at the score, we're up 12. You got to assume that foul shots have definitely taken a part of that. We have a steal by Mike Cleaves, which leads to an open jumper by Charles Ford. Heck of a play by Mike Cleaves.
Beautiful play is right, Jason. Charles Ford knocks down the jumper, and ND has opened up a 43-29 lead. Well, we've got 4.5 minutes left, and it's an exciting basketball game. We hope you're enjoying it as much as we are.
Jump ball created by the defense, and going back the other way for Notre Dame.
Playing inspired basketball right now.
Jason Thomas had a hand in on that jump ball. He was able to get there and force a half-court trap over along the sideline and get that ball back. Jason is probably one of our more aggressive and physical players, and he's definitely not afraid to let it hang out and play as hard as he can against this really strong and tall Winchendon team.
Well, you're right there, Jason. You know they are. They're not afraid of anything, and they seem like they're getting the better of it at the guard position, as we've been talking about, not letting Winchendon be able to set up their half-court offense.
Brandon Robson with the ball in the corner. And we got a foul, I believe, on number 5 for Winchendon. 5 being Andre Sandoval.
Well, 2 Notre Dame guys were on the floor, Jason, so it appeared that somebody threw somebody out of the way in the down low post area.
And we're going to the foul line again. Jason Thomas is going for 2.
Well, Winchendon right now, of course, is a long way to go in this one, but they don't really have an answer offensively against Notre Dame is their dogged defense is creating some turnovers in Notre Dame. It seems like they're down here a lot more often on the offensive end with the basketball.
Yep, the pressure is definitely starting to get to them and come to our advantage as Jason is able to sink both free throws, and we now have a 16-point lead built up by Notre Dame, 45-29.
Well, I don't have the official numbers, but I'll tell you, in the last 7 minutes, I don't think Winchendon scored 6 points. As they've been ice cold. And we've got another foul as Winchendon pushes it up court in an effort to get something going.
I believe the foul's going to be on Jason Thomas, who's able to hustle back and stop the layup.
Jason Thomas makes a nice play, and as you say, Jason, I gotta tip my hat to you and the coaching staff at Notre Dame. But, you know these guys are, they're thoroughbreds and they run and they're very athletic. But one thing, sometimes they don't have that enthusiasm getting back on the defensive end. And tonight Notre Dame is getting back, and that's, as you know as a coach, I think it's crucial that you got to get back because the other team is and every team I think is going to have a lot of quickness. You can't skip a beat, so to speak. You got to get back because the other team is going to be pushing it on their end, and if you're not careful, they're going to be going in 2-on-1, 3-on-1 situations.
Well, it took a couple of hard practices for them to be convinced that they had to be back on defense, but they really have been responding and playing very hard. We've been working real hard in practice, and they've been showing a lot of heart and showing they're not afraid to step down, or that they wouldn't step down from anyone, and it's been proven here.
Well, Notre Dame trying to swing the ball around, creates a turnover there as the ball was thrown out of bounds. Back to Winchendon. Again, Notre Dame has gone right from the get-go with that full court pressure. They want to get those guys and turn them to the weak hand and create that turnover. And it's been a factor, a big factor, as guys like Mike Cleaves and the Notre Dame backcourt have been creating some turnover and keeping Winchendon really tied up offensively.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Winchendon still hasn't, obviously, they're not out of this game by any means. Not only is it because that they are athletic and have the quickness, but also Notre Dame's been letting them back into a lot of these fouls. And if they're able to capitalize on these foul situations, they're going to be able to chip into this 15-point lead here.
Oh, and of course, Jason, as you say, these games, there's so much talent out there that, they can rattle off 13, 15 points in a couple of minutes. I've seen it in the past with Notre Dame and Winchendon and the MCIs. I mean, they get momentum and they can get get hot. I mean, that's all you can say. And you can never relax it with any lead. I don't think you really can.
Absolutely. Here we got Notre Dame going the other way. With a missed,
that was just a beautiful drive by Notre Dame, but they were unable to finish it off. And here comes down the other end. We got a block, but we've got a foul.
Jermaine Fitch was able to glide over and block the shot, but unfortunately committed a foul to the body of number 10 after the shot. Morris Hall will be going 2 shots.
Jermaine Fitch commits the foul.
That's 3 on Fitch.
That's 3 on him, and he's another guy that is an integral part of this operation. I think with Notre Dame, he's a take it to the hoop guy. He's a rebounder, although he stands at 6'5". He's listed at 6'5".
He is 6'5", but he plays a lot bigger than that. He's able to take up a lot of space. Really knows how to use his body to create space and go to the boards. He's probably he and Mauricio are our best offensive rebounders at this point so far.
Some guys just seem like they have that keen instinct around the basket, know where the ball is, and he seems like one of those type of players. Winchendon with the turnover, and now Notre Dame gets it right back. It's Brandon Robinson, won't go. Beautiful, beautiful rebounding action down low by Charles Ford. Geez, just a nice offensive board, huh, Jason?
Charles Ford was able to get the rebound. Looked like Brandon Robinson had the ball going down the break. Wasn't able to make his mind up. Saw an opening, didn't quite capitalize, I guess I should say, on the shot. But Charles Ford was able to clean up. He's going to be going to line for 2.
But as we're seeing, Jason, too, these guys get off the floor so well. I mean, you got to getting by the guy is not enough because sometimes companies come in and they're going to pin that ball on the board, and that's been happening a lot tonight. Got a couple of substitutes now. 55 in the ball game for Winchendon. It's Justin Kimball
from Ithaca, New York,
and Brian Carter from Rockwood, Michigan. So they come from all over the country and outside the country to show you what kind of basketball we're showcasing here tonight.
Harding Nana with the offensive putback off the foul shot, increasing the lead 47-34 as Winchendon was able to hit a couple of free throws early and cut into that 15-point lead.
Just great hustle, as you say. Offensive rebound, getting that shot back up and in.
And here Nana's name again as he blocks the shot out of bounds. And it'll be Winchendon's ball on the side.
Well, Notre Dame is playing inspired ball right now. They're making some substitutions, but they're not dropping off. They're playing good. They're maintaining that lead. Good aggressive defense right there. That was a good hustle by Joel Wiggin. You like that Joel Wiggin, huh, Jason? He's a good tough player.
Joel Wiggin has really proved himself to be up for the challenge. He plays really hard, and he's not afraid to go to the hole. He'll step up against anybody.
Winchendon with the outside shot won't go by Kimball, and the Crusaders come back down, and they got that 47-34 lead. We're inside 3 minutes. And Notre Dame might want to move the ball a little bit, huh? Just to take a little time off the clock and get a good one, maybe. As
we
I
got
say
Mike
that, there goes
Cleaves. Takes the ball, and what happens? Got a foul drawn, and he's going to the line again.
Well, that was a close play as Cleaves made his mind up, and he was going to the basket, and fortunately it was a foul against Winchendon, because I wouldn't want to see Cleaves commit another personal foul. And if I was Coach Barton, I'd be keeping an eye on that foul column to see that these guys don't commit a foul prior to the half.
He could have easily gotten the offensive foul if
agree.
the defense had gotten there one step earlier. Cleaves able to hit the first free throw, going for 2.
Tim Stevens returns into the Winchendon lineup as Cleaves makes the second foul shot. And Notre Dame extends its lead to 49-34 with just under 2:40 remaining in the first half. We're glad you can join us here on FATV Channel 36 in Fitchburg. This is the Winchendon Green Wave and the Crusaders of Notre Dame. There's a turnaround by...
Going the other way, looks like we got a foul on Winchendon, number 11, Brian Carter.
Darius Mansell missed the shot, and the foul was on who, Jason?
Foul was on Brian Carter. 11. Going to the line for 2, looks like we got Brandon Robinson.
Brandon Robinson has had a nice first half.
He has. He's been doing a lot of the little things. Haven't heard from him as much as we'd like to as far as scoring.
You know, let's face it, he's one of your bigger guys.
Yep, he's a big guy. He loves to take the ball to the hole. He's a leaper. He's probably got the best vertical leap that we have of anybody on the team. I think one person that might be right there with him is Mike Cleaves, as we've seen tonight. But he's really athletic and is really good at taking the ball to the rim and a lot of times above it.
As we mentioned, he's from earlier on in the announcement. He's from Newmarket, Alabama, and he's scheduled to go to Auburn University.
We've got a travel call on Winchendon.
We got a little cha-cha down the lane on the Winchendon team. The ball goes back to Notre Dame, and again, Jason, that Winchendon offense is just unable to really put anything together, and I think it's a tribute to the Notre Dame defense.
Well, we got Mike Cleaves with the ball here. I think we might have another foul. Oh, guess not.
Mike Cleaves is setting the tone on that offensive point guard position. And well, I got a beautiful hustle on that board for
put back by Brandon
Dame.
Robinson as he was able to come back and get the rebound.
Well, other than the big guy for Winchendon, they seem to have a smaller lineup out there. Well, Notre Dame is doing a nice job on the boards. They really are. They're playing with a lot of heart. We got a Notre Dame foul, so Winchendon's going to go to the line.
Looks like it's on number 15, Harding Nana, committing the foul.
Harding Nana, he fouls Darius Mansell. I believe it was Darius Mansell.
Past 2 or 3 possessions for Winchendon down the floor, their big men have caught the ball outside of the block, and that's forced them to have to put the ball on the floor and make a move or pass the ball back out, something that Notre Dame hasn't been doing or wasn't doing early on in the game.
You know, you got to let there's a lot of contact down there, and Notre Dame is fighting hard for that position. And as you say, you know, when a guy's getting the ball a little outside the blocks, he really wants it down low so he can make 1, 2 dribbles and power it up. He's getting the ball 10, 12 feet from the hoop. He's a little deeper than he wants to be, and that's a good defense.
We got another foul coming up as Cleaves again is able to use his quickness to get by the Winchendon guards.
Well, they just can't seem to stay with Cleaves, and he is going right back to that charity stripe, and he must have 10. I would guess he might have 10 points from the line tonight.
I'd say close to that. I think he's starting to charge rent for anyone else that's going to the line. First one is good.
Well, we're seeing a lot of foul shots. There's no question about that. Coach Burns is making some adjustments here. He's going to go with number 22. That's Dominic Meyer.
From Feldkirch, Austria.
Feldkirch, Austria. You don't think these guys have contacts all over the world for basketball players? You're mistaken. They come from all over. Notre Dame is going to make an adjustment.
Jobby Gillis coming in for Charles Ford.
He's Chicago, and he's in for Charles Ford. And Charles Ford has shown some played some nice minutes early on.
Oh, got a 3-second call that negated the steal. Beautiful steal by Joel Wiggin, but unfortunately got a 3-second call, so it's going the other way.
Yeah, that was a tough break for Notre Dame, as they were bearing down there to open up an even larger lead. They presently lead 53-36, and they're keeping that full court pressure on. There's no let up in this team. There's a steal up on the double team. The pass inside, it won't go by Robinson. Rebounding action is hot and heavy. Hot and heavy.
Oh, we got to travel. Not able to capitalize on the layup.
Some serious rebounding action in there, Jason. Wouldn't you say?
Well, a lot of people think that the further away from the hoop you get, the harder it is to make it, but you also got a lot more contact, like you say, as you get down low to the hoop. And that's what happened is we got 3 offensive rebounds, but weren't able to put the ball in. Almost a 10-second violation, but unfortunately we got a foul on Jobby Gillis.
Well, Winchendon has made some substitutions at the guard position, and Notre Dame has maintained that upper hand, so to speak, and that full court pressure. But there, as you say, almost a 10-second violation in the backcourt, but a foul is committed. So we will march down the other end for free throws, as we have been doing quite a bit of it tonight. That's Dominic Meyer from Austria. He shoots 2, and he knocks the first one down.
One thing with all these fouls is the clock isn't running, so that gives both teams a chance to rest up. And when you're pressing as hard as Notre Dame, that's a good thing.
That's a real good point. Real good point. And you got to give him credit. It hasn't been a spotty pressure. It's been good, intense pressure right from go.
Got an offensive rebound putback by Jobby Gillis, able to score a couple points.
A foul on the drive, but there was no foul to come. And who was that on that score? Was it Jobby Gillis?
Jobby Gillis with the bucket, and then immediately following, we had a foul on 20 Joel Wiggin.
Okay, we got a good basket. Now down the other end. Notre Dame committed the foul, and Dominic Meyer returns to the line. He's forced to handle the backcourt responsibilities for Winchendon right now. You make a good point. You know, you get so much stoppage in plays. The guys get to catch their breath, and they're ready to put that full court pressure on. Because, you know, let's face it, maintaining that intensity for 40-minute ball game is demanding.
It's rough. It is rough. It's able to capitalize on both, and we have a 55-39 lead now by Notre Dame.
Well, that Dominic Meyer, he can knock down foul shots, I'll tell you. And we're inside a minute, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you're enjoying it. Notre Dame's got the lead now, but you go to the icebox and get a soda, you come back, it might be tight, so.
Jobby Gillis, another offensive rebound.
Good offensive rebounding tonight by Notre Dame. Oh, we got a crash there, Jason. He went a little over his back on that one. Yeah, great hustle, but he...
Brandon got a little excited. He was trying to go for the slam putback. Unfortunately, got called for over the back.
Yeah, he wanted to slam it right over the Winchendon guy's shoulders, and when you try to do that, you're going to inevitably have too much contact, and that was the case. And down the other end we go with Darius Mansell. 2
more shots to cut into this lead, again with the clock stop. I would venture to say that close to half of the buckets, the points scored in this first half of play may have to do with the charity stripe.
First free throw was missed by Mansell. The second one is up and in. So it's 55 to 40, I believe. Yes, 55 to 40. We're inside a minute, and Notre Dame still looking to attack, and I think that's what they got to do. I think they got to attack.
Well,
we got a violation, a carrying violation on Brian Gardenhire. He hasn't seen much action, has he, in the first half, Jason?
He hasn't. He's, as you said earlier, we're going to have to go deep into the benches, and with us having a plethora of guards. Brian Gardenhire's come on in, and I hope he's going to give us a couple of good minutes on this press. Because we got 23 seconds now left in the first half
as
of play.
we talked about earlier, no doubt he's giving Cleves a breather, as you don't want him to get another foul. You got to like the intensity. Now, there's no let up in that Notre Dame pressure here. It's 10 seconds, and they're digging in, and then sure enough, they create the steal. Ahead of the pack, there's a stuff. Nice jam by big Brandon Robinson.
There's the athleticism above the rim that we see by Rand as he was able to throw it down.
You're exactly right. You got a buzzer that didn't go off, ending the half, but Notre Dame ends the first half in style. As Brandon Robinson, ahead of the pack, goes in for the dunk and puts kind of an exclamation point on a game that was really, Jason, I think you'd have to say it was kind of Winchendon in the first 10 minutes and all Notre Dame in the second 10.
Definitely all Notre Dame. As you say, Winchendon was able to really put on a good show and show that they were ready to play coming into this pretty cold gym. But we were really able to turn on the second half with the pressure. And as you see now, we're up 57-40. And so kind of be nice to be a fly on the wall to hear what's going on in Winchendon's locker room.
Well, yeah, yeah, you're right there. As Coach Burns, he's a feisty, fiery competitor, and you know, he's lost to Notre Dame for the first time last year, and he doesn't like to look bad. Believe me, he's a nice guy and he's a knowledgeable, good coach, and his team really flat out hasn't played that well, and he's down 17. But that's not to say that it can't turn around, Jason. As we spoke, these guys are very athletic. They haven't been able to get their offense going, but an adjustment or two in the during this halftime intermission, and things could change. So no way is Notre Dame in for an easy game. It could change fast, as we say.
6. Absolutely, tides can turn. I'm looking here at the stats. We've got Cleves, I believe, is 13 for 15 from the foul line, and also has 2 points. So we've got Cleves with 17 points. 13 of those 17 coming from the free throw line as he's able to take advantage of the fouls.
You know, early in the year, it's nice to see guys knocking those free throws down because they can be a big help. You know, and when you get, and especially this has been a very unusual game. We have had a lot of fouls, and I think we might have as many free throw points as field goal points in this game, if you can believe it. Probably not that many, but there's a lot. Well, we're going to run down the total points. If we can get the hold of the book, we're going to give a rundown on the scoring.
Yep. As soon as they're done tallying up the results, we'll see if we can get some numbers out for you.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in. My name's Jamie Elaine. I'm sitting here announcing the game with the Notre Dame assistant coach, Jason Webster, and I want to thank Jason for helping me out. He's doing a great job. And what you know, it's nice, Jason, that, you know, you can give me insight in the Indy guys. You know, not only do we watch them out here, but you're down there every day working with them and helping them develop. And you must find it very rewarding working with such talented guys.
It is. As you say, we are there every day with them, and so some days, you know, can be longer than others, I suppose. But definitely, we've been able to see a lot of improvement and a lot of development just in the past 3 or 4 weeks or so that we've had getting started with the season. We still have a ways to go. The defense right now. Always can be room for improvement. As you see tonight, we do have a lot of pressure that we put on in the full court, and so far that's been able to help us out. But you know, from a coach's perspective, you're always looking at what you need to improve, always trying to find something to work on, and that's pretty much been our goal thus far. These guys, as you say, they've been having a lot of fun, and they do have some good attitudes that they bring to the court when they do play. So that's really been able to help us out a lot when we're trying to, you know, move this team forward and you know, get some positive results in the win column.
Well, you know, Jason, you hit on a good point. You know, it's a lot more to basketball. I mean, you know, you got to live with these guys and work with these guys, and you know, it's showing through that you know, these guys do have just a genuine good attitudes out there. And I'm around basketball a lot, and I see guys that sometimes, you know, their focus and energy isn't always channeled in the right direction. And based on this first half, both teams, both Notre Dame and Winchendon, there's no questioning officials' calls out there, and there's a very disciplined operation. And as you say, they seem like a happy bunch, and they're just focused on basketball, and we're enjoying it. I'll tell you, if you can come down and watch some of these games during the year, you'll enjoy it. It's fast-paced basketball. These guys, if you keep track of them, you're going to see them at the likes, you know, Auburn University. Rutgers, as you mentioned, one of the ball players is committed to University of Rhode Island, George Washington. So, these are good players. And while I think of it, Modibo Diarra, who was one of the great players at Notre Dame for 3 years, Jason. I don't know if you know Modibo that well, but he was really quite a story. He came over from Mali, and he really took to Notre Dame, and Notre Dame took to him. I'll tell you, everybody liked him. He was a soft-spoken guy, and he's now playing at
He's in Memphis. I guess he's playing with John Calipari.
Yes, he's hooked up with John Calipari, who was instrumental in UMass's glory days a few years back. And I think he's on TV tonight, as a matter of fact, Friday night at 10 o'clock on ESPN. So I wish him the best of luck. As a matter of fact, I kind of miss him when I'm at these games the past few years. He's been a fixture, and he's not here. And he was a well-liked athlete over at Notre Dame. And we wish him the best of luck with John Calipari at Memphis.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll see some playing time from this evening. You said that they're playing on national television.
And you mentioned something earlier, Jason. We may have discussed it earlier, but it must be a challenge as you have to intertwine, so to speak, the athletes that you have. And these guys, let's face it, none of these guys are used to sitting on a bench. Where they came from, they were probably the top gun or a main cog, right, in their team, and they're used to being out there. And some guys can take to coming off the bench, being a sixth man, and being cold and getting out there and performing. But others, it must be a tough adjustment for many.
Well, absolutely. The thing is everybody is important on the team. Everyone has their role, and depending on conditions of who we play, who plays hardest in practice, that's going to decide whether or not they're able to get out there and get some quality minutes for us. As you said, it is very difficult to come from one scenario where you're used to getting the attention and rightfully so, getting a lot of playing time, and now where we do have some kind of to a point, to a degree, that these are two all-star teams that we're watching. We have a lot of players coming from a lot of different points in the U.S. and also around the world, and it can be frustrating when you do go to practice and you put the time in, but it just turns out that you weren't the player that was needed at the time. But also at the same token, we have had a lot of positive attitudes, as we talked about earlier, with players stepping up in practice and coming here tonight, if not suiting up, at least to be there to cheer the team on, and because they do know that they're going to have their opportunity, and being Notre Dame being the type of program that it is, there are going to be some scouts that do come to watch you play, and given the chance, you are going to have your turn, and just like Winchendon and MCI and a lot of these other schools, you're going to have a lot of opportunities. Whether or not you take advantage of that is going to be up to you. And so far, we've seen a lot of people step up to the plate and show a lot of talent for them.
Well, I just have to say, I think there's good chemistry over there this year, Jason. It's between the players and the coaches, and it's reflecting on the floor out here today. They're all playing with a lot of heart and a lot of desire, and that's what Notre Dame is. Hopes to be all about, and that's what you want to see out there. You want to see good, hard-nosed basketball, and keep your mind on the game, and you got to sacrifice. I mean, we all know you can't be out there every minute, and you're not going to be the high scorer every night. So you got to take the good with the bad, and just give it your all, and that's what we're seeing out there. And like you say, these teams are all it's an all-star team of blue-chip high schoolers who are now pursuing big-time college, and you come from all over, and it makes for exciting basketball for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's halftime here. We think we're on the air, Jason. Maybe we're just talking and we're not even on the air. I don't know.
Oh, that's okay. We're having a pretty decent conversation. It looks like it's going to be
talking basketball. We could do it here. We could do it. Out in the lobby. But we're talking basketball, and we're having a good time because we're watching a good game. As we talked about, it was Winchendon leading for the first 10 minutes by maybe as many as 8. I'm guessing.
I believe it was 8 or 9.
Then Winchendon, I think, got to 30 points with about 10 minutes to go in the half, in 32 or 33 or something, and they ended up the half with 40. So they really, really went ice cold, and a lot of it is due to Notre Dame's good pressure man-to-man defense, keeping the ball out of the low post area, and really having the big advantage at the guard position. We've talked about it. As you said, I think we had to give a game ball at halftime. We'd have to go with Mike Cleaves.
Absolutely.
He's just done a lot in that backcourt.
Well, in the first couple of minutes, it looked like that we were a little tentative and a little, maybe, I don't know, a little sore, and or not sore, excuse me, but stiff. And as time went on, we were able to warm those legs up and kick it in gear. they were able to, have a very effective full court press and make a lot of turnovers, which led to a lot of points. One thing about the free throw situation, you could get as many free throws as you want, but if you don't take advantage of it, it's not going to do you any good. And we've been able to see, especially Mike Cleaves leading, I think, free throw attempts and free throws made. I believe he's 13 for 15 thus far and 17 points. He's really been able to get to the foul line and take advantage of those situations. Otherwise, we would have a very close game right now.
Oh, you say it. You say it right there. Even you watch NBA basketball. I mean, some guys are just poor free throw shooters. They lack the focus and concentration or whatever, and they don't knock them down. And with the excessive fouls that we have witnessed in this first half, as you say, to go to the line and not take advantage, it'd be very frustrating. And that is the reason for the lead. A good part of the reason for the lead at halftime is Notre Dame's ability to take advantage of those trips to the charity stripe.
Yep, I'm looking at the scoring statistics for Notre Dame right now. We have Cleaves at 13 for 15, and has 19 points right now at the half to lead all scorers. And we have Branwell. Mauricio Branwell has gotten to the charity stripe as well. He has 9 points on 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, why don't you run them right down, Jason, as far as the scoring goes?
Oh, okay. We'll see if we can get a couple of these down for you before the halftime's over here.
I'd run them down. Why don't we just give a quick? What did you say Cleaves has got for scoring? He's got
19.
He's got 19 at the half, and he leads all scorers. He's got 19 points. We'll go quickly because we're going to be starting back up shortly here. We'll go down the Notre Dame ledger first.
Yeah, we got Cleaves with 19 leading all scorers. Branwell with 10. Wigan with 9. Nana with 11 points. We got Fitch chipping in with 2. Ford has been able to hit from outside and slash to the hoop for 7 points. Brandon Robinson, 4 points. The second bucket coming, that exclamation point at the end of the first half. Jason Thomas and Jabi Gillis also contributing with 2 points each.
Okay, on the other side of the ledger for Winchendon, Abraham has 2 field goals and 1 free throw for 5. We've got Demarius Edens has 4 field goals and a free throw for 9.
Looks like Darius Miles also has gone 4 for 6 from the line. And looks like he's got about 10 points wrapped up.
We're seeing a few goose eggs here, aren't we, in the official book, Jason, as far as missed free throws on the Winchendon side.
Yep. Looks like they haven't been able to take full advantage of the free throw attempts. Not quite so many attempts for Winchendon. Not the case earlier on in the game. We thought that Notre Dame might be going right through their lineup at the pace they were going at the foul line, but tides did turn as we got to the probably, I'd say, close to the 7 or 8 minute mark going into the first half.
Well, as we've been saying, it's good basketball. Right now it's Notre Dame, but that can change. We get under 3 minutes, and we're going to start it back up. And we'd like to thank the referees tonight. They're doing a great job in a tough game. It's a kind of game. It's end to end, and it's been a little choppy. It's their first game, Winchendon, and based on the trips to the foul line, just says it all. It's been a lot of hand checking, a lot of contact, and they're doing a nice job. I want to give them a tip of the hat because these games aren't easy to do, as we've said. You gotta let a lot go, but then you gotta put your foot down, so to speak, when the play gets too physical. So it's a challenge, no matter who you have out here, and these guys are doing a nice job.
Well, you hit on a good point. There really is a lot of judgment calls that are being made, and it looks like so far it's been a really smooth game. I've been told that a lot of times if you don't notice the referees, it means they're doing a heck of a job, and I think so far, even with a lot of the calls that have been made, I don't think either team could say that they would be complaining about any of the calls. Really good job so far.
No, they're concentrating on playing, but I think too the early in the season makes for there's been some it's been a changing of momentum, and there's been some contact and ragged play, just to put it plainly, and when it's ragged like that, it becomes a tougher ball game to officiate. Everyone likes to see smooth up and down play. As Coach Burns here is questioning in a polite manner, I would say. Some of the things that have gone on in that first half. I think he'd like it a little smoother, but hey, contact is contact, Jason, and if it's there, it's got to be called, and that's the ball game.
Well, when you are coaching a big team like this, you do like to see a little bit more freedom, I would say, maybe with your big men down low in the post, because when they are drawing a lot of contact like this, you have to put your big man on the bench, and then where are you going to go? And right now, with the guard pressure being put on by Notre Dame, they've really been forced to go to their bench a little bit more than I think they've wanted to.
Yeah, it's you know, the referees, you know, they're always going to be put under scrutiny, and I think they're doing a heck of a job. But we're ready for second half action. I hope you're back in your recliner, sitting home and enjoying it as much as we are. The crowd's picked up. It was a little sparse early on, but I guess they had their they cleaned up and had their supper, Jason, and then they got down here.
Well, we're about to start the second half here. Let's see what we got to offer from Winchendon as they try to battle back from the 17-point deficit.
Well, there's been a request for a scorer for Winchendon. Maybe they want to scrutinize those fouls, I guess, Jason, huh?
Well, it seems that they do have a couple of statisticians they're trying to
now we
come
got
up
a clock
with us.
problem. Is we're juggling around and the clock went out. We got to watch that clock, referee. I believe the clock has been knocked out, so we're going to have to check on that. Looks like Winchendon wants a scorer in here. It's like Al Gore wanting a lawyer in Florida. Winchendon wants a scorer at the table here to scrutinize what's going on.
Well, we're all friends here, so we'll be all right.
Well, we got a scorer in here for Winchendon just to make sure everything's on the up and up. But now the scoreboard's out, so
Well, I
hold
think
the
we're
line.
trying to conserve a little energy here because it looks like there could be a lot of points scored in the second half. So they're going to try to see if they can cool off those bulbs for a minute before we let them back up.
Well, it looks like Notre Dame is going to have the Jason, I'm taking a quick look. Does that look like the same starting five as we saw in the first half?
Yep. Looks like we got number 3. We got Jeremiah King starting, as he did. Demario Edens joins the team for the second half, along with Sonny Abrams.
You know, Jason, that Abraham, the big guy, 52 for Winchendon. Did he play? He seems like he's been kind of juggling them in and out. I think he's the kind of guy. He's got to be out there. Now that they're behind a few points, I don't know. I don't think Coach Burns looks at this game as get everybody a workout. He wants to win the game. That's the bottom line there.
Well, I think early on he got in foul trouble. I'm looking over the books here, and I think he's got 2 fouls that have been called against him. So that may have triggered something. And then as we've been able to put a lot of pressure on the guards, they've kind of taken him out of the game. Looks like we've got a technician coming in for St. Bernard's to see if they can hook the scoreboard back up.
Well, the athletic director here at St. Bernard's is a real gentleman. That's Jake Gurley. People in the Leominster-Fitchburg area know Jake, and Jake is in the try to rectify the scoring problem as the scoreboard has gone off here at St. Bernard's.
Just found out a fairly interesting statistic. There were a total of 43 fouls called in the first half. 23 called, I believe, against Winchendon, and 20 called against Notre Dame. So that's definitely been a key factor here. 43 fouls in the first half. That's quite a bit.
Boy, I can't remember a game with that many fouls, Jason. It really is. So we're going to keep a close eye on that, because down the stretch it's going to be who's got 4 fouls, who's got 3 fouls, and going to be a real chess game down the stretch, I think, in this one, as far as who's going to be available to play.
Yeah, I don't know as I'd like to remember a game with 43 fouls in it, but definitely with this amount of action, there's going to be some calls made, and we'll see what happens the second half here.
Well, the reason for the delay, if you're just getting back with us here, is we have a clock malfunction, and the lights have gone out on the scoreboard, but we're hoping it gets taken care of any minute, and we're ready to resume second half action.
Oh, we almost had a flash of brilliance with the scoreboard. Let's see what happens if they try it again. I overheard that they may have possibly blown a fuse. Let's hope that's not the case.
Well, I've been here before, Jason, and sometimes there's just a connection on there that gets a little loose, and they have to play with it a little bit. But let's hope it's not a big delay here. again, a reminder that Notre Dame coming up has got December 8th, Hesse College at Notre Dame, and they're going to play Maine Central on December 16th. I have Coach Burns on my left. Coach Burns. Winchendon returns home December 5th. For you viewers out there that might want to catch the green wave at home, that's their next game, and they'll be playing in the Board 44 tournament coming up December 14th, around the December 14th, 15th area. So you might want to check the papers for that. They'll be, I believe, playing Milford up at the Mount Wachusett, the Board 44 Referees Classic Basketball Invitational, and that's always an exciting few days of basketball. You're going to see the likes of St. John's, Shrewsbury, a great high school program. I believe St. John's of Danvers is up there, and it's always a showcase for the local high school. The Worcester, the Holy Names of Worcester that will be there, and Winchendon plays a couple of games up there, at least one. So that's exciting basketball to take part in. And that'll be around this middle of December.
A little bit of frustration being let out by the scoreboard here.
You know, as a player, Jason, what do you like when you're going to stand around like this? You know, it's no good. I mean, it's you get stiff.
You do. You also it gives you a chance to kind of think about what's going on. A lot of times, if you're just out there playing, you just let things happen. You don't have to worry too much. But really, I think the only factor that you hit on, absolutely, is that you're getting stiff and a little cold. So, looks like we're going to have probably a couple minute delay here as they're trying to see what the problem is.
Fine, and then we start moving the table around, and something went out of joint here, and well, we're just hoping that it gets organized soon enough. But I got Jake Early. He knows the building. He's the man in charge here. So if he can't straighten it out, we might have to do a stopwatch and a manual. Manual clock, Jason. You think that'll go over?
It's been done before. We're now trying to slap around the box, see if maybe that might convince it to turn on.
Well, we talked about getting stiff and staying loose, and sure enough, Coach Burns is going to have them get loose and shoot around.
Yeah, hopefully none of these guys will get stiff. We'll be able to keep the game going.
Well, they're forcing us to keep talking basketball, Jason. We're at halftime. We had a as we said before, we had a funny first half. We had Winchendon having the lead early, getting the better of it. Notre Dame always staying close, though. I don't think were trailing by more than maybe 6 or 7 at one point. And then with about 10 minutes to go, Notre Dame just carried the play based on their good guard play, as we talked. And Cleves was instrumental at guard, and just taking the play away from Winchendon and bottling them up on the offensive end. Winchendon unable to generate any offense really to speak of.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about this game leading into tonight, and I think maybe you got to assume that there was something going on in the heads of both teams as they were wondering, trying to feel each other out, figure out what's going to happen tonight, and what do we got for an opponent. So this is definitely, as the game progressed, we were able to see a little bit more confidence in Notre Dame as they were able to size up their opponent and take advantage of their quickness. The beginning of the game was a different story. Winchendon was very confident, taking the ball to the hole every single time they had the ball down the floor. And
the alley-oop was the play of the day by Winchendon, first 3 minutes of the game.
Pressure really wasn't there at the time when it happened either from Notre Dame, so that was able to give their guards a chance to take a look around and run some offense.
Well, as we mentioned, they must have been read the riot act at halftime, and I'm sure they'll be back with some intensity this second half. As there's a mutual respect, I think, between these two clubs, but there's also these guys are competitive guys by nature, and they're out there to win, and they're not going to settle for anything less. So we're going to have, I'm sure, a good, exciting second half. Well, the referees are joined by the clock, and we're sitting here patiently waiting as the clock here at St. Bernard's has gone off, and it's been about 10 minutes now, and we might have a manual clock coming in. I don't know.
How steady a counter are you? Maybe we can keep something that way.
Well, I don't like these coaches. I've seen them both lose their cool, and I don't want them yelling at me. So, Jason, we'll give that over to you.
All right, well.
You'll be an assistant coach at Notre Dame. I don't think that'll go over too well on the Winchendon side, so you're eliminated too.
I guess we'll just have to sit here then. I overheard them say that if something wasn't able to come about with this scoreboard, that they were going to probably use a hand stopwatch of some kind, so they still could have the second half. So they are trying to make every effort possible to get the game going. It may come in another form, but at least we'll be able to continue basketball tonight.
Well, you know, I think we can handle it with something manual over here. I don't think it's I hate to see it to drag on here. But again, we're here at St. Bernard's Gym. We got a delay. We've got a clock problem, and we're hoping to resume the action. You know, Jason, what's Notre Dame leading by? I forgot already. We've been sitting here so long.
57-40 was the halftime score.
57-40. Notre Dame has got the lead.
That's correct.
And still 20 minutes to go, though. And as we've talked about, there's a lot of talent out there. I'm sure there's some stop and pops and some great moves that they have all got in their attack. And, you know, Winchendon can certainly turn this thing around. Winchendon has definitely got some talented guys. And Coach Burns has played a lot of people, too. You know, when you play a lot of people, you try to maybe see what they can do and give them some exposure. But you lose, I think you lose, Jason. You lose that, you know, you might lose that chemistry out there you're trying to achieve with a steady group by playing a lot of guys.
Yep.
What do you think of that?
Well, there is a lot of pro and con to that type of scenario. If you are going to go deep into your bench, then you are going to cut a little bit away from the chemistry, but also you got to think of the fact that if you have to go to that player later on in the game, they're going to already have that experience and be able to go back in knowing a little bit more of the game scenario and have a little bit more of a handle. It's kind of like in baseball, if you have a DH that comes in at the bottom of the ninth, as opposed to, you know, maybe going in for an injured player early on in the game. They're going to be that much more warm and probably have that much more confidence if they're called upon to make a decision, perhaps hit a bucket towards the end of the game. So it really depends on how you look at it.
Well, I guess you're saying, you know, you got to get your feet wet sooner or later, and if you don't get your feet wet, you're going to be prone to mistakes. So I see what you say. See what you're saying, but we've come to some kind of agreement here. We're going to do it manually. We'll try to keep you posted as to how much time is remaining as we go along. The scoreboard, the main scoreboard, as you can probably see on TV, is not working. Worked fine in the first half, but it's not working now.
Looks like we're going to keep track of the time with the stop clock.
Possession. $57-40 is the halftime score. So 57-40. We'll try to keep you posted as the official score, Jason. We're going to have to watch the score pretty close here.
All right.
It's 57. What was it again?
57-40. Notre Dame is up as we start the second half.
17, and the Green Wave is going to start it up here in second half action.
He didn't.
Well, we got a little dispute early on. They're questioning the possession now, but
nonetheless, we have Winchendon with the ball, and we're starting the second half.
Winchendon looking for a little movement, motion offense here, trying to spread it out a little bit and get some.
We now have a mismatch. Brandon Robinson trying to guard the. Oh, we got a foul. Jermaine Fitch was faked out of the pump fake. It's going to be Winchendon ball in the corner.
Well, we're back to that foul action again. We got one right away here to open up the second half. Winchendon on the inbound down low. There's Sonny Abraham getting the pass and dishing it back out. I think he's got to handle the ball more.
We now have a foul on Notre Dame. Looks like we're going to be shooting two. Fouls on Mauricio Branwell, and I believe that's his third.
Mauricio Branwell, who's got the who's got the challenge of trying to hold a fort, so to speak, in the rebounding activity down there. Presently with Mauricio Branwell and Brandon Robinson down low. Winchendon misses the first free throw.
Oh, he looked kind of a little stiff there trying to take that shot. You got to wonder if maybe the delay had something to do with that.
Oh, absolutely. Two missed
Second
free
shot
throws.
is up.
Abraham got the rebound, but then lost the handle. But a nice follow-up. Nice follow-up there by Winchendon's Demario Aidens. He had a good first half.
Demario Eden able to get the putback after the rebound by Brandon Robinson, but just wasn't secured. Again, when you get the rebound and bring the ball down low and not shin the ball, it's going to bring it down to a guard level where it's easy for them to slap at it. See if Notre Dame can respond now to the challenge.
Well, we got a foul up top. Is obviously Winchendon's trying to put a little more pressure up top. And Andre Sandoval was a little too aggressive up top, committing the foul.
A little bit of frustration being vented by, a little bit of frustration being shown by number 5, the guard for Winchendon, as he was had a couple of things to say to our friend Mike Cleaves after the ball was committed.
Well, it's been clean as can be so far.
Charles Ford with the offensive rebound for the putback.
There's a beautiful dipsy-do move down low by Ford for the Crusaders.
And we now have a 5-second call assessed against Winchendon, as the press for Notre Dame press was a little too much for Winchendon to handle. Score is now 59-42 as we are underway here in the second half.
Well, Notre Dame, it's a beautiful drive up and under, no good. We got a foul going down the other end.
Looks like it's going to be on number 15, Harding Nana.
Was that Robinson, Jason, who went to the basket on that one, was it, or
That's
Branwell?
I believe it was Branwell, but the foul was committed by number 15, Harding Nana, going over the back.
Well, Branwell just missed. He took it to the hoop nice and just missed it off the glass. And Winchendon now on the other end.
And now we have another forced turnover by Notre Dame. We're going to be going the other way.
Notre Dame now bringing it up court, 59-42. Notre Dame has opened up 17 points, and now they try their own little version of the motion offense. There's a nice soft touch from the head of the
Mauricio
circle.
Branwell again from the foul line
showing
extended.
a nice touch for a big man, 6 foot 8 inches.
And another turnover. Harding Nana assessing some pressure. And another
nice
2 points from
pass.
Mauricio Branwell.
Geez, what a nice pass inside there, huh, Jason, and a nice little running right-hander.
Harding Nana was able to steal the ball and then hit the cutting Mauricio Branwell for the layup, as we now have, I think, 63-42. We'll have to check with that. 63-44 as another bucket by, I believe, Darius.
Darius Aidens is right. He's tough inside. He's got a nice soft touch, and he puts one down for the green wave. We got a foul down here.
Looks like a foul's going to be on Winchendon. Number 3 with a push.
A push-off by number 3. That's Jermaine King.
I believe we already have 3 or 4 fouls being called in the first minute or so of play.
Well, that's been the common denominator, is the fouls being committed. Morris Hall enters the lineup for Winchendon. He gives Jermaine King a breather. Jermaine may be in foul trouble. I don't know right now. We'll check it. Oh, yes, that's a goaltending, and that's a good call by referee Jeff Jollymore up top.
Another.
That ball was on its downward flight, and when it's on its downward flight, that's untouchable, and that was deflected at that point, so it's awarded the goal for the Crusaders. Notre Dame back to their pad, did full court pressure.
We have a travel violation now on Winchendon, as we had 2 charges tried to be taken by Joel Wiggin and Charles Ford, but just didn't draw enough contact.
Once again, Notre Dame didn't get the steal, but they created that turnover. Well, there's a little there's a battle going on between number 10 of Notre Dame, Charles Ford, and number 10 of Winchendon, Morris Hall, and the foul is called on Notre Dame's Charles Ford. So Winchendon will inbound and as they try to get something going offensively.
We have a 3-pointer by number 10. That brings us to 65-47 Notre Dame.
That was Morris Hall, as you say.
So we have
Jason showing a little outside range for the Green Wave.
as we now have a foul on 23 Demario Edens. And Notre Dame will be inbounding the ball from the half sideline.
We got 65-47. We think that's official.
I believe so.
Please. We got an inbound. We got a substitute going to come in for Winchendon, and that's Tim Stevens, the guard. Winchendon's on the move now, pushing it up forward. They're trying to look it inside to Sonny Abraham.
Got a foul now on 15 Harding Nana.
Winchendon wants a sub. As I keep mentioning, Jason, that Abraham is a highly sought-after ball player, but he's been unable to really get his game to, so to speak, down low tonight. He really got to give credit to Notre Dame for that, because he's not able to get loose down low.
Well, and a lot of credit, I think, is due to Mauricio Branwell, who is actually guarding Sonny Abraham and has been holding him to really not a whole lot of offensive production. They haven't been able to get the ball down low to Sonny, with Mauricio's defense, and also with the pressure being put on by the guards at Notre Dame.
Well, Branwell is not, he is not as big as these front liners for Winchendon, but as you say, Jason, he is taking them on head to head, and he is doing a commendable job. That ball goes in the paint, and they're getting bottled up, and it's Robinson, it's Branwell, and it's a fired-up ND team. They're holding their own down low, and that's been the big part of it here tonight. They hold a commanding lead right now, but that can change. That can change.
Mike Cleaves with the ball now.
Mike Cleaves with a beautiful spin move, but he misses the free throw. Here comes Winchendon.
And we have another charge that has been assessed by Winchendon as Mauricio Branwell is able to step up again.
Player control foul on Winchendon's Morris Hall as he just barreled right in. Nice call by referee Lamar Mitchell, as that really was, if you had to show an offensive foul, that was the one to show, because that was right there on a charge. There's Joel Wiggin for about a 17-foot jumper.
67-49 now, I believe, is the score.
67-49, and Notre Dame is opening up daylight here, as we're probably about 5 minutes into the second half. We don't have that officially, as the clock is out here at St. Bernard's.
Well, we just heard the announcement from the score table. It's 17 minutes left to go in the half, so we're 3 minutes in, and we're at 67-49.
Well, thank you, Jason. That makes it official. And we got a power move down low. As Darius Mansell, he's doing everything in his power to wheel and deal down in the low post area. He doesn't get the hoop, but he draws the foul.
Well, we have Meshach Bennett has been brought in as Harding Nano is put into some foul trouble. And so Meshach, while he is a very strong athlete at, I believe they have him listed at about 6'6", he's shorter, and therefore he has to, make up for the lack of size. We got Darius Mansell, who's able to make a nice move towards the hoop and get fouled in the process, and now he's just hit his first of 2 shots from the foul line.
Well, Jason, to me, that's the first time we've really seen Winchendon get the ball and really exert a power move, and he drew the foul. And to me, that's what they've got to do with their size advantage. But Notre Dame now looking for a foul down low, and I think they got one.
We now have a lot better effort now. Notre Dame crashing the boards and going to the offensive glass, as Brandon Robinson was going to the rebound and was fouled from behind by, I believe, on 44. It'll be Notre Dame's ball on the baseline.
Notre Dame inbounding. Here's a
high arcing jump shot by Mike Cleaves.
Mike Cleaves altering his shot because of the size and just putting it up there ever so softly and in. What a beautiful touch. And there he is again on the defensive end, looking to cause a turnover, getting his hands, getting in there and playing aggressive. He's a tough player. Jason,
he's playing really hard.
A flat-out tough player.
He's playing really hard, and he's really letting it all hang out tonight. And we have almost another turnover.
Winchendon looking to get it going now. There's a nice fast break hoop. Laid in by number 5, Andre Sandoval. Is Winchendon trying to get a little enthusiasm here, trying to get something going. Their offense has been a little shaky. They really haven't been able to put it together yet. But as I say, I've seen too many of these games, Jason. Things can change. There's a nice head and shoulder fake down low. By Notre Dame, number 40. That's Meshach Bennett, but Winchendon wasn't going for that head and shoulder fake, Jason.
Really tough. Looks like he's given about 3 inches up to 44. Darius Mansell. He's just basically just waiting to put the ball up, and he's going to go get it.
Well, Notre Dame's back on the attack now. They're up top with Joel Wiggin, cross-court pass. They look like they're trying to spread the floor a little bit.
Spreading the floor with a high and low post as we have Charles Ford up top.
As Winchendon, it seems to be in some type of zone. Notre Dame around. Joel Wiggins puts up the shot. Ball's going to go over to Winchendon.
More of an effort to spread the floor now and see if they can pinpoint a weakness in the chink of perhaps the defensive armor of Winchendon, as they call it, timeout.
Well, we got a timeout. We got a 30-second timeout by Winchendon. 69-52 we have as an official score right now. We played about a little over, we played 5 minutes.
We're at the 5-minute mark now, and
you know, Jason, I'd like to ask you, there's 2 philosophies out there. When you got a lead like this, what is your philosophy? Do you want to keep pushing the ball and staying with the game plan? It's got you the lead. Or do you do different things? Do you want to spread the floor, maybe look for an isolation one-on-one where you can, take a little time off the clock, get a high percentage shot? I think there's 2 ways of looking at that, and I think if you talk to 10 coaches, you might get 5 and 5. What's your feeling on that?
Well, it seems the question comes down to how aggressive you want to be. Do you want to keep going with the game that got you the lead, or do you want to be more conservative? Basically, what that means is, are you playing to win, or are you playing not to lose? My opinion basically is that you would want to play to win and keep playing the way that you have. Because if you do,
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. You know, and what you're doing well. Who's to say that you can change the whole style and maintain that type of play? So back to the action now. Head of the court pass.
Meshach Bennett was able to get on his horse and get back and block that shot. I was able to call the foul, but we did have a foul on him in the process. And Andres Sandoval, I guess how you'd say it, will be going to the line.
Sandoval, yes, he laid it up, and it looked like a pretty good block, but a foul was called. It was close.
He was able to get him with the body as he went by there.
But nevertheless, Sandoval misses the first of 2 free throws. And well,
actually, it did go in, and it's 69-53.
I took my off and it bounced in. Sorry, thanks, Jason. I'm looking at my statistics here. I'm missing the game.
Second one is missed. I guess you probably saw the future, and as Winchendon is able to get the ball back.
Oh, there's a beautiful pass. Beautiful, beautiful entry. Down low pass by Sandoval, but Winchendon's unable to take advantage.
And now we have Brandon Robinson with the rebound, and Mike Cleaves bringing the ball up again.
And Cleaves has got a lot of confidence. He's the class at the helm tonight. You're not taking it away from him, and he's calling the shots, and he's been a big key for the Crusaders so far. He elects to go all the way, and it won't go this time.
Looks like we may have a foul call. We'll wait to see what's going on. Looks like it's going to be no foul, but black ball underneath their own bucket.
We got a foul, and the ball is going over to the Crusaders. Jason, is it?
Looks like the Crusaders have the ball. I don't think there was a foul call. There's a little commotion there.
Well, a missed shot and a lot of hands up on that rim, but no basket. Here comes Winchendon on the gallop. Tricky dribble by 14 Stevens. We got a foul down low.
Looks like we have a foul on number 10, Charles Ford.
Charles Ford, they're going to be questioning how many fouls people have as we've spoke all night. It's been a foul fest, and there's a lot of personal fouls on both sides of the ledger. And as in the first half, Jason, we're in the 1-on-1, and we haven't played that long.
I'm willing to bet. I haven't heard the official count yet of how much time is left, but I'd say we probably are only 7 minutes into this game. We're already going into the 1-on-1. It's like
Coach Burns looking for the time. I think we got about 15, is it?
14 and change, so we're a little...
15. As there's a free throw made. There's a good free throw by the big guy, Abraham. Big guy, Abraham, for Winchendon.
Finally hearing his name here as he's up to the foul line. And
He's got a pretty good form there at the line on that one, Jason, knocking 2 down.
he hit them both.
Winchendon's going to have to create something on the press, and yeah, we got a traveling violation down low. But you know, if you're a Notre Dame fan, Jason, you got to like the way that you know. It's nice to have Cleves on your side because they're not taking it away from him, and that's a big advantage.
They're not.
Versus pressure.
He's been able to take care of the ball, and especially with a lot of the contact that's going on, he's still been able to hold on to it and stay strong.
Winchendon's looking to get going on a 3-point goal. It won't go, and here comes the Crusaders on the run.
Oh, Johnny Gillis misses the layup, but Brandon is there and
Brandon Robinson
slams
says,
it home.
I'll cover for you when he puts down the miss with a real jam. And that was a beautiful athletic play there by Robinson. And Notre Dame matching the intensity on the defensive end, which again is impressive. There's a nice 17-foot jumper for Winchendon. We got about 13 plus to go here. Notre Dame with the ball. That's a turnover off Notre Dame. It's going to be Winchendon ball.
Mishak tried to put the ball on the floor and go past his man. Unfortunately, it caught the heel of his shoe and went out of bounds, so it's going to be Winchendon ball on the side coming up the court.
Mauricio Branwell enters the Crusader lineup, as does number 11, Brian Carter. He's 6'11" out of Rockland, Michigan. As both coaches try to keep fresh troops out there. It's been intense. It's been up and down. The offense has been a little spotty, especially for Winchendon.
Oh, we got a good steal.
Play. Notre Dame tough on the defensive end, and they're on the run.
Yeah, it's taken right back by Winchendon.
There's a stop and pop. That's a nice heady move on that one by Winchendon's Tim Stevens. Now Notre Dame back the other way. And they're forced to commit a foul. And that was
foul on number 5, Andres Sandoval, as Brandon Robinson was trying to finish the layup.
The crowd didn't like it, Jason, but that looked like a hard foul to me, and it looked like certainly a foul.
Well, I definitely heard it from all the way from this sideline table here.
It was going to be a stuff or a layup. So, well, they're ruling it intentional, huh, Jason? They're ruling it intentional.
Yep, they're saying that he was trying to slash across the wrist, wasn't really going for the ball because it appeared to be a wide open layup. So
well, it's going to be 2 in the ball. That's the rule. You make an intentional foul, the offensive team gets 2 free throws, clear the lane, and they'll get the ball back. So that's a big swing for Notre Dame, and you see Coach Burns really didn't agree with the call, but he doesn't make the call. So Notre Dame's going to get 1 more free throw. He missed the free throw, but they'll have possession underneath.
We got DeMario Edens coming back in for Andres Sandoval.
Notre Dame inbounding down low off the intentional foul. Now here's Cleves looking to go to the hoop. What have you got for a score right now, Jason?
We got 71-59 as the unofficial score right now.
Scoreboard is out. If you're wondering why we don't know the score right away, we've got to ask because we're keeping score here ourselves.
Mauricio Branwell with a nice move down to the bucket as he lays it in.
Branwell with a little finger roll in the lane. Notre Dame keeping that double-figure lead.
Good defense put on by Joel Wiggin as Winston tries to bring the ball up.
Well, Winchendon inside with a nice rebound, unable to finish it off, and we got a foul.
And we got a foul on Sani Ibrahim of Winchendon. I think Sani, he's got to be kind of frustrated. He's really hasn't been getting a whole lot of looks at the ball so far in this game.
I agree with you more. He's a highly touted guy, and he's a picture of physique and a big man, but he's really unable to really get the ball where he wants to, or he's not shown much much of a threat, and we're surprised because we heard a lot about him, and we expect him to be a force out there. Here's Cleves, and Cleves looking for the entry pass. into Robinson, but it goes out of bounds. So there's a Notre Dame turnover.
Cleves tried to put the ball down to Brandon Robinson as he was posting up on the block, but his first move was to put the ball on the floor, and he unfortunately had to dribble off his leg.
Seems
so
like his
win
body
the ball.
went faster than the ball on that move to the hoop.
That's the case in a lot of situations when you have these athletes.
You know, Jason, though, I'm impressed with the defensive intensity on the Crusader side. They're really keeping the heat on, so to speak.
Mike Cleves. Mike Cleves, once again, hearing his name quite a bit, is able to finish the layup. Probably could have dunked it if he wanted to, but I think he was expecting the defense to be there.
Well, we got a big power move to the hoop, but we got a traveling violation outside beforehand, so we wipe it all off the mark and possession Notre Dame.
We got Joel Wiggin bring the ball back, and unofficially we have 75-59 here as the score. Notre Dame in front.
Winchendon staying in a man-to-man. Notre Dame looking to set up some type of motion offense, swinging the ball, looking inside. There's a nice entry pass. Foul line jumper won't go.
Brandon Robinson with the offensive putback.
They're working hard down low, Jason. It's paying off.
And here we see the pressure being put on. The trap by Mike Cleves and Javi Gillis is able to...
Well, I'll tell you, Jason, the Crusaders, they got that look in their eye. That ball goes in the basket, and then they're right back on the defensive end, and that's been the difference. They're not letting Winchendon get going offensively.
They're relentless. Absolutely relentless in their defensive play right now. They're not giving an inch as they press Winchendon when they bring the ball up.
They've got that lead, and they're not getting lazy. They're getting back, and they're working hard.
77-59 the score.
77-59 as Notre Dame is going to try to blow them out, but we ain't out of here yet. Don't count them out yet. There's an outside three-point goal. That was a three-pointer by Tim Stevens. Notre Dame now. Uh-oh, we got to travel. There's a turnover.
Yep. Joel Wiggin had the ball, was trying to take his man, and unfortunately switched both pivot feet before he was able to get the shot off.
I refer to that as the old cha-cha, Jason.
Well put. Yeah.
Now, Coach Burns getting on his boys. He's looking for a charge here. They've got the talent. But Notre Dame stingy on defense, creating the turnover. Wiggins on the go.
We got an open Jason Thomas.
No
Wasn't able to get put back. Here comes Winchendon.
Jesus, slip and a fall by Winchendon. Here comes Notre Dame. They missed the dunk. It's getting in action here. Winchendon got, I didn't see the bucket, Jason.
By 11. 11 was able to hit the bucket. Brian Carter on the baseline. 77-64.
Brian Carter, 77-64 we've got. 77-64. We got a full timeout by Notre Dame. They look like they were about to bid him farewell, but a missed dunk, and they come back down the other end, and Winchendon, as I told you, Jason, you can't count them out. They're tough, too. And Coach Barton is reading the riot act, as he didn't like that highfalutin play, and they missed a couple of buckets. And
well, we had a couple opportunities. We could have just laid the ball in, and instead wanted to put the mustard on the hot dog with the slam dunk of Mauricio, but it didn't go that way.
Yeah, you know, it's a flashy move, and it's exciting to watch, but don't miss it. From a coach's standpoint, don't miss it, because it's an opportunity by the board. And you know, Jason, you know, as a player yourself, you know, it generates the other club. It gets the other club a little bit of...
It definitely fuels their fire, because now they're getting the ball and they're going the other way, and we just had a couple of jump shots by 11, Brian Carter, and that's gotten them right back in. At one point, we were ahead by 19 points here down at St. Bernard's, but now they've cut it to a 13-point league as Notre Dame's up 77-64.
And you know, if you've been watching basketball as long as you and I have, you know, you just know by looking out there that there's some offense that's been untapped on the Winchendon end. That, you know, credit is due to the Crusader defense. But if they don't maintain that intensity, things can change. So they've got to keep their mind on business here and keep working on that defensive end. There's a beautiful individual move, huh, Jason?
Teardrop jump shot by Joel Wiggin as he was able to get it over the 6'11" outreached arms of Brian Carter.
That Wiggins, he's a veteran. He plays like a veteran.
And Javi Gillis is able to put the ball in. We now have an 81-64 Notre Dame lead, and just like that, it's back up to 15 points, Jamie.
Well, Bill Barton blew a piston over there during that timeout, and it obviously hit home as Notre Dame has come off the timeout with a little more spirit. There's a left-handed jump hook by Mansell that won't go. ND's on the gallop. Nice drive, no foul.
We got
no foul in the
nice
paint
offensive rebounding work as we got 2 offensive putbacks. And Brandon Robinson able to capitalize. We're now up 83-64, 19-point lead with under 9 minutes to go in the ball game.
Well, it's ND is keeping up the defensive pressure and keeping Winchendon a little bit stymied here on the offensive end. There's a nice power move though. There's Abraham on a power move, finally showing a little bit of his talents. 88-66 we have for a score. 22-point lead.
Joel Wiggin given enough room to operate. And who else but Recio Branwell is there to get the rebound
Boy, Jason,
offensively?
you make a good point. They're really just showing a lot of heart and desire on that offensive glass. You know, that offensive rebound, you know, sometimes it ain't so much your size. It's, as they say, the size of the tiger is the fight in the tiger, and there's a lot of fight in the tiger on that offensive glass for Notre Dame.
Absolutely. It's definitely a frame of mind. It's whether or not you want to go to the glass hard enough to get through the defense and get some position. Recio Branwell has been able to show that he can do that. Now seeing for the first time Jermaine Fitch, I think you were about to say, has entered the lineup. I believe he has 3 fouls on him, so he's going to come in and see if we can get some spirited play out of him, especially with the tall lineup that we have to face with Winchendon.
Well, I think I agree with Coach Barton to get some fresh troops out there, and we haven't noticed any drop-off. You know, you guys are playing about 10 guys, it seems, and when you want to maintain that intensity on both ends of the court, you can't keep a guy out there for 10 minutes. Sometimes you got to change him up, and I think Coach Barton is looking to change it up, keep it fresh, and hopefully maintain this good lead he's worked for.
Well, let's see what happens here. We got an 18-point lead. And pressure right now. Nice bucket by Darius Manciel.
Well, Winchendon still has to rely on that inside action. They're not getting much in the outside perimeter game, which bodes well for Notre Dame.
Mauricio Branwell is just killing him with that jump shot from the top of the key.
Branwell hit one in the first half, didn't he, Jason? They got the bounce. He's got such a soft touch. For a big man to get two rim jobs like that, that's pretty impressive.
Well, he definitely has a soft touch for a big man. That's probably one of the reasons why UMass has been seeking him out so hard.
Winchendon almost seeming a little sense of urgency, taking it to the hoop.
Got timeout called now.
Mario Aiden's on the drive. I think we got 86 to
86-70, I think, right now.
16-point margin. Notre Dame.
And that's at the 6:47 mark of the game.
6:47. So it's getting late, so to speak. You know, what I like about Notre Dame, Jason, is I mean, if you're cheering for Notre Dame, Winchendon hasn't shown us a real perimeter threat. And you know, down the stretch, if you need to make a good comeback, usually you need some marksmen from outside, and Winchendon hasn't shown us much of that tonight yet.
Well, I think the only outside threats that we've seen so far is 14 Tim Stevens has been able to hit a couple of jump shots early on in the second half. But as you say, when we had a little timeout and Coach had a couple of choice words for his team over on the Notre Dame bench, been able to tighten it up a little bit on the defensive side. Right now, I've been able to close the gaps. They don't quite have as much room to move to hit that outside shot. So now we've been able to see the lead creep back up. We have a 86-70 lead.
Well, the ball's being swung around by Notre Dame, looking for a high percentage shot. They get one inside, but it won't go. Rebound, Abraham with a pretty good rebound there. Here's a nice pass, drop the ball.
Jermaine Fitch goes high above the rim to get that rebound.
Oh,
And a beautiful outlet pass to the streaking Brandon Robinson, who finishes off with a slam dunk. Mike Cleaves able to see the whole court and make a beautiful baseball pass, the length of the court for the dunk.
You hit on a good point there, Jason. The guy's got the sixth sense. They just look up and sense he's got a man ahead of the pack, and he hit him right on the button.
Nice jumper by number 10. That's Morris Hall for Winchendon.
Notre Dame 88-72. Notre Dame again swinging the ball, looking for the high percentage shot. Take a little time off the clock if they can. There's just a nice power move.
Harding Nana makes it 90-72.
He's stronger than I thought, Jason. He just said, I'm going to the basket, and that's it, and that's just what he did. I couldn't see who got that one, Jason.
I couldn't either, but it was a layup.
There's Nana right back. A little shake and bake. Won't go. Rebound, Winchendon. It's end-to-end basketball. That's all these two teams know. Get it and kick it out. Winchendon working hard on that offensive glass. It's Tim Stevens. He's 6'1", and he don't even look 6'1". Doing some damage in the paint for Winchendon. There's no quitting that group, huh, Jason? You got to tip your hat to Mike Burns' club also.
Well, absolutely. We're 3/4 of the way into the game now, and we're just now seeing some life on the offensive glass by Winchendon as they're able to get down and get the offensive board to create the opportunity, and now they're going to be going to the foul line.
Well, you know, it's early in the year, and as you've touched on, you know the challenge of finding chemistry, of finding guys that complement each other. It takes time, and I think Notre Dame, and they've got a few games under their belt, is showing a little farther along on the little things, so to speak. Winchendon is a little unorganized in a way early on here, and it's showing up. I don't think they're. I think it's their first game, and they're showing a lot of signs of it.
Yep, I'm sure that when they leave, whether or not they do win or lose, there's going to be a lot of talk about how to break the press and deal with the guard pressure put on. Because a lot of other schools are going to hear about this, and they're going to want to try to do the same thing when they do go up against a tall team such as Winchendon.
Yes, I've seen Winchendon in the past, and I don't like to be critical, but I think their guards were a little stronger in the past than this year. But it's only one game, and maybe it's a tribute, as we've been talking, it's a tribute to Notre Dame's pressure, doing a heck of a job in containing them.
Notre Dame in the half-court set here, trying to spread the floor.
Again, Notre Dame, motion offense, spreading the floor, pass, go through, keep moving. That's the name of the game. Keep moving. Don't let them double team you. Take some time off the clock. You got a screen there at the top of the key, no whistle. It must be about 4 minutes, huh, Jason? Is that what you'd guess? And there's a little controversy here. We're playing, I guess, without a shot clock, and now Coach Burns is questioning it a little bit.
And we got a bucket by Brandon Robinson as he's able to cut to the basket.
Robinson finishes it off. Now we got a nice lead pass to Cleaves. Cleaves, and he misses it. What a beautiful play. Geez, we just saw a heck of an athletic move, and it's a tough play.
Timeout was called, but I believe they didn't hear him.
The Notre Dame player made just an unbelievable play, huh, Jason? He caught the ball, and
he was able to make the play in midair.
And we could see it. He didn't get the timeout. It was just the referees were in the transition. It's no one's fault. They just weren't able to see it.
Excellent effort, though.
Oh, Unbelievable. What any in midair requesting the timeout, and it was a shame he didn't get the timeout because he did make the play.
Here we go. Winchendon the ball up top. 92-74 lead for Notre Dame.
I want to thank you for tuning in and watching the game. My name's Jamie Elaine. I'm the announcer here with my partner, assistant coach at Notre Dame, Jason Webster. We hope you're enjoying it. It was Winchendon early on, but Notre Dame first half gained the lead, and they haven't looked back. And
well, it looks like we've got a foul. Not to interrupt there, we got a foul on Charles Ford, and that was his 5th foul. So we have Jabi Gillis that will be subbed in for him, and Jeremiah King will be shooting too.
If fouls were apples, we'd have about 4 bushels, Jason, tonight. Because we've got a lot of whistles. Well, Coach Barton, he's trying to keep the boys with their head in the game. He's not letting them know they got a big lead, and that's a nice thing, huh, Jason? You want to go full bore all the way, and that's what he's doing. He's not letting them rest on their laurels with a good lead.
We got Jeremiah missing the first of 2 shots from the free throw line. Hits the second one. We have a 92-76 Notre Dame lead.
Winchendon looking to go all full court. He's got a small lineup in there. He wants that double team at the guard position, I guess. And now it's going to be all out for the last 4 minutes defensively for the Green Wave, because they're in kind of a desperate situation here.
Cleaves has the ball at the top of the key.
2.5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 2.5 minutes as Notre Dame spreads the court, and now we got a nice drive by Brandon Robinson. No basket and a traveling violation.
I think Notre Dame got lucky because Seti Abraham was able to beat him all to the board, but he ended up falling down and got a travel call. So it'll be Notre Dame underneath their own hoop.
We got Darius Mansell, who's had a pretty good night tonight. He's a guy to look for down the road for Winchendon. He's a big guy, and he's very active in there. He takes out Abraham. Well, Notre Dame might have caught the Winchendon on a bad night. It's their first game, and these games are always a battle. It's a rival game, and it's full tilt intensity all the way, and it's been that tonight.
I think we had a comment. We were talking about what kind of what mentality you'd go into this game, and it seems that Notre Dame's been a little bit more conservative in their offense. They've been running the ball up towards the top of the key and not really as aggressive attack into the hoop. And the thing you got to watch out with this is now every time you don't score, it's magnified because that's time that's been taken off the clock, and Winchendon has an opportunity to cut into that lead.
Yeah, I think maybe Coach Barton wants to work on a little bit of that slowdown. Well, you know, one thing too, there's no shot clock, which is a
I was about to say that,
you
yes.
know, and that changes your system quite a bit, I think. You know, these guys are so talented. If they want to keep the ball away from you, it's tough to take it away. You know, you got the good ball handling skills.
Some full court pressure being assessed now by Notre Dame.
Notre Dame on the steal.
And 2 points by the streaking Brandon Robinson.
Jabi Gillis, I think, was too nice a guy on that drive. I think he should have taken it in himself.
Could have laid it in. We almost saw a deja vu episode there.
Yeah. Bucket by Winchendon's Darius Mansell. You know, that's a nice thing, though. You know, when the guys are looking for your teammate, Jason, it's a nice thing.
Well, we have a
team out there. You know what I mean? They're very unselfish, I guess I'm trying to say, and that's refreshing.
We got a good block by Brandon Robinson.
Here's Cleaves taking charge, looking to regroup here. Keep it under control and keep the turnovers down. Notre Dame tries to run out the clock here. There's a good defensive play by number 11, Brian Carter. Here comes Winchendon. Good block, close to a goaltend.
We got Great block by Mauricio. Questionable on the goaltend, but I guess he got it right at the peak of the shot, and we now are coming up the floor with 1 minute to go. Nifty move by Mike Cleaves, diverting the defense.
Mike Cleaves, he's the kind of guy you want to have, boy. There's no taking the ball away from him. When you got that kind of weapon, that's a nice thing to have. He's going to be a factor in many games this year, I'll tell you that.
Heck of a show being put on by Mike Cleaves and his ball handling ability, as he was able to go past 2 or 3 defenders and bring the ball back up to the top of the key and try to take a couple more ticks off the clock. He's now going to be at the line to shoot another couple free throws.
Really just completely frustrating, I think, the Green Wave guards and the defense. He really is able to do what he wants out there.
Stopping the action here. Not able to capitalize on the first free throw.
He's human, Jason, I guess. He's human. He's making most of those free throws. But what's he got? About 13?
He was 13 for 15 from the line at the half, and I think he's now, with that miss, he's now, I believe, 14 for 19. Winchendon will inbound the ball.
Well, we got a little hold up here. Well, we got a technical foul being called by official Lamar Mitchell. Evidently, something was said over here at midcourt. Now, I didn't get any clue of it. Did you, Jason?
I didn't hear anything. Appears that the refs heard something that Mauricio had said on defense.
Okay, we got a technical foul. We're in the final moments here, final minutes.
94-78, and we're shooting the technical.
35 seconds, that's the official time. 35 seconds. Justin Kimball out of Ithaca, New York. He misses the first of 2 free throws in the technical foul situation. It's been all ND in the second half. A combination of good full court pressure and just a better offensive attack, I guess you could say. They were able to push the ball up the floor and keep Winchendon really off balance offensively.
Yep, well, 30 seconds left. It looks like we're about ready to wrap it up, as long as we don't get any crazy foul scenarios here.
Well, the lights would have to go out now. 30 seconds. We're half a minute away. It's a big win for Notre Dame. It's a big rival game. And they never beat Winchendon until last year, so this is just making a statement that they can stay with them, and they not only stayed with them, they put on a pretty good show and beat them pretty handily tonight.
Yeah, Notre Dame has been up by 14 points or more for, I would say, probably at least the game after they were able to calm down the first part of the first half.
It's all over. It's all over. It's all over. It's Notre Dame winning this one. What was the final again, Jason?
Final score, 94-78.
Well, again, we want to thank everybody for joining us. This is Notre Dame basketball on FA TV channel 36. I'm Jamie Elaine. I'm here with Jason Webster. The game has just been concluded. And Jason, to wrap it up, your final thoughts on the game tonight?
Well, it really was an interesting startup to a great game. We had 2 really athletic teams. Seemed that Winchendon was able to get the lead early, but as soon as Notre Dame was able to heat up those legs and get them going, they were able to set some really good pressure on the guard play of Winchendon, and that turned into some points. And we were able to get the lead back and keep the lead by at least 10 points for what seemed to be a better part of half the game.
Yeah, I don't know. Winchendon didn't show me enough offensively, and it was Notre Dame taking a play away from them with a combination of good defense and just a more aggressive effort and the big edge at the guard position. Notre Dame, as we talked all night, Jason, about Mike Cleaves and Charles Ford had a nice night, and some nice rebounding, nice aggressive rebounding on both the offensive and defensive ends. And the offensive end, Notre Dame, I said to the start of the game, I talked like I thought Winchendon had, in looking at things, a better chance with the size advantage. But that proved out to be wrong. And Notre Dame, really played aggressive on the rebounding and held their own. If not did better. So Notre Dame, I think, at all phases of the game, really beat them handily. And although it started off not looking that way, but pretty impressive performance for Notre Dame. And
well, I think it came down to a couple of things that really